Above the scene, there is a lockdown at Palmetto Elementary School, a hard lockdown according to Fulton County Schools because of an active criminal investigation. I want to bring in Fox 5 assignment manager Tanya Mendoza. She's standing by at her assignment desk. She's been monitoring this for the last more than an hour. Tanya, what do we know?
Right now, we have reporter Angelique Proctor over at Palmetto Elementary School, where authorities there, the school system is telling us that there is a hard lockdown in place after an incident happened not inside the school, but on the school campus. They are calling this a criminal investigation, and they're going to update us on what happened. What we can see from the air is about 35 to 40 law enforcement cars outside. That's including GSP, Fulton School Police, and Fulton Sheriff's Office. So big investigation out there. We do see a blue tarp out there, and we're trying to get the details. Angelique is on the ground with photographer Billy Heath and Matt Stringer and Eric Len. They're all trying to talk to parents, get the information, and get the latest from authorities as to what happened. The students have been moved over to nearby Bear Creek Middle School. And that's what we know right now. I think we're going to be hearing from Angelique at around 1:15, so hopefully she'll have the latest details.
Yeah, Tanya, we're looking at a picture on our screen right now, live pictures. Buses are leaving Palmetto Elementary School right now en route to Bear Creek Middle School, and it does look like there are people on board those buses. So it looks like that transfer is happening right now here at the top of the 1 o'clock hour, because we know obviously this incident happened just within the last about hour and a half or so ago. Can you tell me a little about, you've been getting a lot of calls from viewers who were reporting this to us. What were they telling you? Obviously, we don't have a lot of it confirmed, but they were concerned parents?
Yeah, Tyler, you're breaking up a little bit. What I can tell you is we got a lot of phone calls here in the newsroom. Michelle Mandel is behind me. She's one of our assignment editors, and she took the first call. It was from someone in the area saying that there was a big crime scene out there, and that we needed to figure out what was going on. We, from there, emailed Palmetto Police Department and the Fulton County school system to get the details. At one point, when we weren't getting a response, we were able to get an email saying, call this number, and it was one of their communications officers that was on the way to the school to get the latest, and he was able to give me a few details, and then a statement did follow up after that.
Yeah, obviously, clearly an active situation. We're looking at live pictures, the Palmetto police vehicle right there. Skyfox 5 earlier at the top of this broadcast, we were seeing just the number of law enforcement officers out there. As you mentioned, GSP, Fulton County Sheriff's Office, just a lot of different agencies are out helping with this investigation. We're working to learn more. We have, as you mentioned, Angelique Proctor is heading to the scene right now. She's on scene, has been talking to parents. We're going to hear from her shortly. What are some of the other stories that our reporters are working on?
Yes, Tyler. Right now, Ray Yadena is over in Northwest Atlanta, where there was a fire in the early morning hours on Oliver Street. It was at a duplex. 2 people were rescued, 2 dogs were rescued. 1 person was transported to the hospital. We talked to the fire battalion chief on the scene, and neighbors were told the Red Cross was out there assisting as well. And Ray is working on that story, hopefully have an update on the person that was taken to the hospital later today at 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. And so obviously that's something we want to get more answers to. I'm glad that Ray is out there digging for information. What's another thing? I know we have another reporter out in Decatur over in DeKalb County.
Yes, in Decatur, Annie Mapp. Reporter Annie Mapp is over at the Decatur Library. As you know, earlier this month, there was a shooting at the Decatur Library. It had been closed. It is now officially reopened with a whole new set of security protocol for people trying to enter the library. They have to go in through the back entrance. They will be screened. There will be a police officer and a security guard there that will conduct the screening process. The doors reopened today at 10 a.m.
Okay.
We did talk to library officials, and she will have the latest on that. later today. She also talked to some people who were visiting the library for the first time since the shooting.
Okay. And a little bit lighter, I know a lot of people who may be sports fans might be thinking about the fact that spring training is finally coming up, and we have a team of reporters down in Florida, Northport, getting ready for that.
Yes, we have Victor Prieto at Brave Spring Training and Justin Felder. Sounds like a lot of fun. That kicks off today, and I think that the full squad is supposed to work out starting February 15th, and the first home spring training game versus the Twins is on the 22nd. So we're excited to see that.
Okay. Well, Tanya, thank you so much for that update. As soon as we get more information, make sure you let us know about the incident at the Palmetto Elementary School. We were going to bring it to our audience here streaming along with us on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. So, Tanya, just let us know when something does come up, and we'll make sure we can bring it to our folks here. Tanya, thank you.
Will do. Thanks.
And let's bring you back into our studio here as we are continuing along. We want to talk about some of the other top stories we are seeing and following right now in the Fox 5 newsroom, and that has to do with a deadly train crash in DeKalb County. If we can show you some video from the incident there. So what we know is a train accident in DeKalb left one person dead and another in critical condition. The wreck happened in the Scottdale neighborhood. That's near Avondale Estates, if you're familiar with that area of DeKalb County. Police say the car was stopped on the tracks and the driver was trying to help the passenger get out when the collision happened. That driver was killed. So another story we're also following has to do out of Barrow County, but right now it's actually in Hall County, and that's because that's where they're selecting a jury in the Colin Gray trial. If that sounds familiar, he's the father of the accused Appalachia High School shooter. 2 teachers and 2 students were killed in that incident back in 2024, and so we do know that they're trying to seat that jury right now. That started on Monday. 9 others were also wounded in that 2024 shooting. Prosecutors claim Gray provided his son Colt with a firearm used in the shooting despite knowing his son could pose a threat. The judge has set aside 3 weeks for jury selection, according to our story and reporting from yesterday. That is a story we're following. It's a story I followed closely since the incident happened back in 2024, September of 2024 at Appalachia High School in Barrow County. Again, they are selecting the jury in Hall County because they are trying to make sure that they can select people who aren't familiar with the incident. So they want to be able to make sure that they can have a fair jury and make sure both sides are able to present this case in essentially a fair way. So we're monitoring that also out of Hall County right now, and hopefully that's going to get done sooner rather than later. Another top story we are following has to do with that FBI election raid that happened in Fulton County. So here's what we know. By the end of the day today, we should know more about why federal agents seized 700 boxes of ballots and voter data from the Fulton County election hub. A federal judge gave the Justice Department until 5 this afternoon to release the affidavit used to get a search warrant. The Union City facility was raided back on January 28th, so just about 2 or so weeks ago. Fulton County sued in federal court trying to get the items returned. In that suit, the county asked for the affidavit used to convince the magistrate judge to sign off on the warrant be released. So we do have and are working on getting that information. As soon as it is released, we're going to bring it to you on air and online here on Fox Local. We want to make sure we can get you the most up-to-date information as possible. And so obviously, as we come back here into our studio here in our Fox 5 newsroom, we are obviously following all of those stories. The big one, though, that Palmetto Elementary School, as soon as we're able to bring more information to you, we're going to talk with Angelique Proctor just as soon as we can. But I first want to talk about the weather. So if you've stepped outside today, it truly feels like spring. It's like, what, 60 degrees right now? Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Alex Forbes is standing by. Alex, I think a good way to describe what we're seeing right now, weather whiplash, because we had the extreme cold with the ice and the snow in early January and mid-January, and now, what, in February, it's like springtime temperatures outside.
Right, we're calling it fake spring here in Metro Atlanta. We're still about a little more than a month away from real spring, at least if you ask the astronomers. 67 is where we stand right now here in the city with the westerly breeze at 12 miles an hour, but yes, we we are headed into the 70s this afternoon. Notice it's registering mostly cloudy skies, and you see the clouds up high above the skyline at this hour. It is relatively thin, though, so you're going to walk outside and you're going to still feel the sunshine here over downtown. At least I did when I was out on the weather deck. 71 now in Alpharetta, 70 in Cartersville. How about 70 over in Winder, 70 in Covington? Meanwhile, where we had some fog this morning, the temperatures are continuing to warm. They're just not as warm as everybody else just yet. So it's still 61 in LaGrange, 59 in Noonan. Meanwhile, it's 68 in Canton, 70 in Rome, 68 in Gainesville, 71 in Athens, and 70 up in Clayton. Now, through the afternoon, notice the cloud cover on the increase at times, and then that's going to give way to showers later this evening. Here we are at 11 p.m. Northwest Georgia gets started first, and then that spills south into the metro through the overnight hours, setting the stage for a wet morning commute tomorrow. It looks like even by 11 a.m. noon, we still have some light showers out there before we clear out on into the evening hours tomorrow. Temperatures not quite as warm. Notice our winds switch direction. They're coming out of the north and the northwest through the day. Now, we're not talking about a ton of rain here. You might notice over an inch, at least according to this particular model. I wouldn't necessarily lock in on that specifically for Ellijay. I would say, broadly speaking, up across the northeast Georgia mountains and northwest Georgia, you could see a couple of spots over an inch, but by and large, most of us between 1/10 of an inch and 1/3 of an inch before all is said and done. But we do have a better chance of rain, of widespread soaking rain for the weekend. So we'll take whatever we can get. This is the reason why. You see this pocket of severe drought from really the Chattanooga area up across Dalton, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and on up towards Clay County, North Carolina. That is severe drought. Moderate drought extends back into northeast Georgia, down along Georgia 400 and towards Coweta County, but also eastern Georgia here. We've got a pocket of severe drought at this hour. Tyler, I think we've got some breaking news. We'll send it back to you.
Alex, thank you so much. Yes, we do. Just within the last couple of minutes, we have gotten our first look at a possible person of interest that the FBI is searching for in the Nancy Guthrie case. If we're able to show you those pictures, it's just coming into the newsroom. The FBI releasing this. According to the FBI director, he said on X, on a post just before the top of the hour, over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recording devices. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems. It went on to say they're working with their partners. As of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance, end quote. So you're looking at these images for the first time with me right here. It looks like he has something in his hand right there. This picture has a backpack on, something covering his face. He looks like he has gloves on. You can see the gloves in that picture right there, that mask. So this is obviously coming from Nest, because you can see the courtesy in the upper right there. So the FBI just releasing these pictures, multiple pictures involved in this. And so this was posted on X just a short time ago by the FBI director. So obviously they're hoping the public might be able to have seen something and are able to call them. They are hoping to bring Nancy Guthrie home. This is a story we've been following. It's a story that a lot of people have been interested in over the last 10 days since this disappearance happened. Over the last, more than a week. We know she disappeared not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, and there was no trace of them, no suspect. So these images are now giving investigators a little bit of information to be able to, hopefully someone may know something, may be able to recognize something about this person and can turn this person in, because the goal right now is to bring Nancy Guthrie home. Just a reminder, there is a $50,000 reward for any information that can either bring Nancy Guthrie home and also be able to bring this person to justice. This is breaking right now. Just another part of this situation, this brand new images. It's unclear if there's going to be a news conference out of Tucson, Arizona, the Pima County Sheriff's Department, but we're going to be monitoring this. We have a live report coming up at 1:30 right here on Fox Local. Caroline Elliott will be joining us from Tucson with the very latest on this investigation. Stick with us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We are going to continue on. Still ahead said, we're following a lot more breaking stories, including that Palmetto Elementary School lockdown, a criminal investigation unfolding outside. We're going to stay on top of that, and we'll have the very latest in just 2 minutes. Stay with us. And good afternoon. Thanks so much for sticking with us here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We are staying on top of that breaking news out of South Fulton County. That is where there is an active police investigation after an incident outside of Palmetto Elementary School. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor is standing by live at the scene. Angelique, this is a breaking story we had at the top of our newscast. What can you tell us? Have you gotten any more updates? And I understand you've also talked with a parent.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Tyler. Things have really changed here on the scene. It's a much quieter scene now. You see some of the school buses leaving now. We have said that the students here at Palmetto Elementary School are being taken over to Bear Creek Middle. These buses, however, appear to be empty. We have seen lots of buses passing through here. Earlier, they did have students on them. What we do know, though, is that criminal investigation is still very much underway. A lot of the police cars, though, have pulled out of here. We must have seen at least 20 police cars, many with blue lights, leaving the scene. So there has definitely been a reduction in the police presence here, but this is still very much a criminal investigation. Now, I have learned just in talking with people here on the scene that apparently this was an incident that happened on school grounds. It did in fact happen on the school grounds, and it sounds like it's a very serious incident and may very well be a shooting. So we are trying to get more confirmation from that. The other new thing that I have learned is that Fulton County School Police will actually be the lead agency on this and not the Palmetto Police Department, because this did in fact happen on school grounds. But we want to stress no students were involved, no students were injured, no students even got exposure to this, and they have all been removed from this scene at this point. So they are over at Bear Creek Middle School. They're also saying they do not want parents to rush here. No doubt that is your instinct, but there is really nothing here for parents, and you would only impede the criminal investigation that is underway here. So they're asking parents to please report to Bear Creek, and they're going to do the normal dismissal time. They're not changing the dismissal times. Now, after school activities may very well change because there will be none here at Palmetto Elementary Elementary School today because of this criminal investigation. But we hope to learn a lot more about the specifics of this. But several people at this point have called it a shooting from very different sources. So we're trying to find out, who was involved in that. It looks like there were no faculty members, staffers involved. All of the people that were there at the school are in fact safe. So that is the very latest that we have here, Carlton Drive in Palmetto right now. Tyler.
Angelique, I mean, this is obviously very scary to happen outside the school. Have you noticed, since you've arrived on scene in the last 30 to 45 minutes, have you noticed a change in the law enforcement response now that the kids seemingly have been relocated to the middle school?
Oh, yes. I saw at least 20 law enforcement vehicles that left this scene. The presence of police has definitely changed since initially arriving here. This street was full behind me. This is Carlton Drive. It was full of police cars, both on the right and the left. They have all left the scene now. Not sure where they went off to, but we do know that the criminal investigation is still very much underway here at Palmetto Elementary School. And that the Fulton County Schools police will handle that investigation.
I know we don't have the sound cut quite yet from your interview with the parents. I mean, were they scared? Were they concerned? And how were they notified that something was happening near the school or at the school, on the school campus?
So the school district sent out emails to the parents, and this one particular parent that I talked with, who came here on an e-bike, said her heart just dropped when she saw that. With so many school shootings happening nationally, of course parents become immediately concerned. Even though the email said that no students were injured or affected, she rushed up here, couldn't get up here with her car, so she came with her e-bike and was trying to connect with her first grade son. And so just a lot of anxiety from a lot of parents, as you can imagine. But again, we want to stress all of these students are in fact safe.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good news here, and I know you're going to be working your sources to get more information from the Fulton County Schools Police Department and investigators on scene. Angelique, I'm going to let you get back to information gathering. I appreciate you joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock, and we'll check in with you just as soon as we can when you get another update later on in the coming hours. Angelique, thank you so much. And as we come back into our newsroom here, that is a story we're going to continue to follow throughout the afternoon. Angelique will be live later on here on Fox Local and along with our newscasts throughout the afternoon and evening. Well, let's talk about something else, another story that does affect a lot of people. If you have a credit card, you may know this, you probably know this, there's credit scores that pretty much everyone has depending on their credit. So new data from Wallet Hub shows Georgia is struggling with credit. We have an average score near the bottom of all 50 states. That's actually shocked me when I looked at the report. And that could affect everything from mortgage approvals to car loans, pretty much a lot of different things it could affect. Today we're talking with Dr. Brittany Green, head of Community Itself, about what these scores really mean and what Georgia residents can do about it. Dr. Green, thanks so much for joining us here this afternoon.
Absolutely, Tyler. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, we do appreciate it to kind of shed some light on this. Well, so Georgia's average, I want to make sure I get this right, average credit score is roughly 678, ranking in the bottom 5 nationwide according to Wallet Hub. That does not sound good at all. What does it tell you about the financial health of our state here in the South, here in Georgia?
Yeah, so when it comes to, credit scores in general, we know that everyone is impacted by them in some way because we use them for everything that we do, whether that's getting a job, getting an apartment, getting a home. So to see numbers like these, there are a number of different factors as to what could be, happening to impact them, such as limited higher levels of financial strain, limited access to traditional credit. And here at Self is a credit building company with the mission to help people have more access to credit building tools so that they can build a good financial foundation. And we recently did a survey, and about 55% of our Self customers were saying that avoiding their credit score has delayed a major financial move for themselves, such as getting a credit card, buying a car, or even securing housing. And nearly half of those same customers were saying that there were barriers like feeling overwhelmed or unsure of where to start. So when we look at a state or a city where the scores are a little bit lower. Those are some things to consider, such as, feeling overwhelmed or not knowing exactly where to start.
So the question I have, and I have credit cards, I have a credit score, I've seen my credit score. You should check it every year. The government does give it out. They're allowed to, I think it's My Free Credit Report or something like that every year. You can get one from each of the major credit reporting agencies. The national average is just over 700, is over 700. We're at 678 here in Georgia. And there are places like Minnesota and New Hampshire are in the low 720s. Can you explain like the difference, how much a few dozen points really make in someone's financial life? Because that doesn't seem like a huge difference when they go up to 850. Somewhere from 678 up to about 700, that doesn't seem like a whole lot, but can that impact someone's ability to get credit or to utilize credit cards and things?
That's a really good question. And what I'll say is there was a recent update right after COVID where people can actually check their credit report more frequently using myfreeannualcreditscore.com, where they're able to check their credit on a weekly basis now. So they don't have to just wait on an annual basis to be able to check that. Now, per FICO, the good credit score range starts at 670. So even being in the 670s and higher is in the good range. And it's not that it's necessarily a negative from just a point aspect. You have to look at the overall credit file, such as what is their payment history? Are they paying on time on a consistent basis? What is their current utilization? So those are all factors outside of just the score itself that are impacting or that can impact their credit file overall. So not just the score itself, you want to look at those components such as the payment history, which is about 35% of their credit score, which is one of the major impacts. Are they paying on time? So looking at the patterns more than just the points, and looking at like even utilization. Is your utilization, industry standard says about 30% or below is where you want to keep your credit card usage. So as long as you're keeping yourself under there, you tend to be in a stronger space. So I would say it's more so not just the points itself that's important. You want to look at those major factors that make up the credit score, such as payment history and credit card utilization, to determine, hey, are you in a more healthy space? That's what I would say.
So without spending money, because obviously credit means you're spending money in a normal sense, are there practical habits that people can make to be able to kind of make their credit score go up without having to spend more money?
That's a good question. But what I think is more important to note that it's the habits itself, not just spending more money or spending less money. It's the habits that are most important. So first things first is their payment history. Are you paying on time on a consistent basis? That's 35% of your score. So you want to make sure that you're paying on time on a consistent basis, as well as your credit utilization. Are you keeping your current amount of credit as low as possible? That was something that I really want to reiterate. But also knowing that there are other options out there. At Self, we do have products to meet people where they are. So for many, the biggest expense that people are paying is for rent and bills, such as utility and gas and phone bill. Those are things that they can now get towards building their credit without having to now go spend a ton extra amount every single month, right? They get to be met where they are. Also, things such as credit builder accounts or secured credit cards. We do offer those products as well that allow a low entry point without the harsh credit checks, as well as without having to break the bank at the same time.
You read my mind, Dr. Green, because I was thinking about that was exactly how Self can help. I appreciate you being able to answer that there, and I appreciate you joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in something like this. I was shocked to hear that Georgia is facing such a credit score problem, being so low. So I appreciate you shedding some light on that and giving some useful tips for our viewers. I do appreciate your time, Dr. Green.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too. And as we come back here into our newsroom, we still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. In just a few minutes, we're going to take you live to Tucson, Arizona, where we're going to get the latest on the Nancy Guthrie abduction investigation. We just got brand new pictures, and I believe also a brand new video. We'll have that live report in just minutes. Stay with us. It's just after 1:30 on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks so much for sticking with us here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We are continuing our breaking news coverage on the search for Nancy Guthrie. It's now entered its 10th day, and less than an hour ago, we just got some pictures. I want to send it out to Fox's Caroline Elliott. She is standing by in Tucson, Arizona. Caroline, this is our first image of a potential person of interest or suspect that police are trying to track down. What more do we know, and what have we learned in the last little bit?
Yeah, Tyler. Well, in the last 30 minutes or so, the FBI just released these brand new photos we're showing you right now that shows someone standing on the front porch of Nancy Guthrie's home. Now, if you take a look at these pictures, you can see that archway in one of those photos. You can see that same archway right behind us now. And when you look at these photos again, you can tell that this is a person who did not want to be found out. You can see that this person is wearing a mask. The person is wearing gloves, and it looks like at one point it appears this person is even looks like they're kind of reaching for something, possibly that recording device that was on the front porch. So again, a lot of this is preliminary information. We're just now getting this in the last 30 minutes, but we can tell you from the FBI, we're hearing that again, law enforcement has been working around the clock trying to get any information on a potential suspect or person of interest, and really trying to get a photo that they could share with the public so they can try to solve this case. Tyler, we will read just the very latest here. It says that law enforcement has been working to uncover these previously inaccessible new images that we're showing you right now that shows an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. So again, this is very preliminary information. We did say that that person is covered up, and the photos, you can't really tell much, but what the family is hoping, what investigators are hoping for, is that someone who knows this person well, maybe they can make out eyebrows or eyes or an eye shape, really those specific characteristics that could define someone and help point them out. Again, we know that the family, this is now day 10 of this search. They're desperate for answers, Tyler, and this might be a promising first step for the family.
Caroline, I think if people were questioning whether this was an abduction, these images now show clearly someone was at her doorstep when they clearly should not have been. They had a mask on. I mean, these pictures, when I saw them come through, I was kind of shocked when I saw them. And the fact that they were able to finally recover it, some good news and hopefully a solid lead.
Yeah, Tyler, and we do know up to this point, law enforcement has said that they did not have a suspect. They did not have a person of interest. So this is a major update in this case and could potentially lead to finding her. We do know that the FBI, as of this morning, really expanding their search for Nancy Guthrie. We mentioned it's now been 10 days, so it's unclear if she's still in Tucson. It's unclear if she's still even in the state, but what is clear, Tyler, as you just mentioned, is that, again, this is someone standing on her front porch right before the FBI says she was kidnapped, and again, doesn't look like they had great intentions there. So again, very, very concerning for this family.
Caroline Elliott in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. The information you just shared with us, vitally important. Hopefully our viewers are able to maybe share this or maybe recognize something, give that information. Caroline, thank you for your time. And let's just take the images full one more time just to remind everyone, to give them one final look. These are images the FBI has released. They were able to grab these and now they're able to hopefully put them out to the public. There's also a video clip that we have just received that they've also released. We're going to bring that to you in the coming hours as this investigation continues, but these images do shed some good light on this this situation as police are hoping and law enforcement are hoping that someone might know something, recognize this. As Caroline was saying just a minute or so ago, behind her was that archway, and you can see it right there in that image, that archway. You know that this was clearly from the front door of that house, the mask on there. It's going to be hard to be able to probably identify it from these pictures, but hopefully this is the first solid lead in 10 days. And I'm assuming the family of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, the Today Show co-host, I'm sure they are glad that law enforcement was able to get this information and be able to hopefully share it now with the public, and hopefully this leads to some sort of break in the case beyond just these images now. And switching, as we come back here into our newsroom, we want to talk about stories that are trending right now. Fox 5 digital journalist Sam Daniel is standing by at our assignment desk right now with a look at what is trending on fox5atlanta.com, Fox Local, and just around the interwebs.
Was able to push out that the photos were released right when it happened, right before 1 o'clock. So if you have our app, you've already been able to see that. You can look at them closer up. It's really great. If you don't have the Fox Local app, I highly suggest downloading it. But our other top stories, right now we're learning more about a traveler who was stopped at the Atlanta airport. So Customs and Border Protection said that they stopped a 41-year-old from California, Cash Bertholt, at a gate. So he made it through TSA to a gate in the airport. CBP stopped him, pulled him into a search area, and when they were searching his bags, they found about 42 pounds of marijuana, they say. So this man made it through TSA with 42 pounds of marijuana and then was stopped at the gate. And it's part of an ongoing and increasing trend, according to CBP, where people are transporting drugs transnationally using air, roads, rail, all of that. So it's an ongoing thing, with Atlanta being a huge hub, Delta's headquarters, the largest hub, the world's busiest airport. This happens all the time, and our viewers love hearing when it's caught here in Atlanta.
Do we know how it was caught, out of curiosity? I did a story, several years ago about the Beagle Brigade, is what Customs and Border Protection talks about it. Is this related to that? Do we know, or who found it?
So we know that CBP officers found it, but they did not say how they found it. And you notice this a lot of times in crime stories. They don't always want to give away all of their techniques. They will talk to us about the Beagle Brigade and stuff like that, but they do like to keep some tricks up their sleeves so that way the bad guys don't know what's going on.
Yeah, the trick is the nose of those beagles, and they are not only good at their job, but they're also very cute, because I see them when I travel. So what's another story? I think we're talking about the monks that everyone has been obsessed with over the last several months,
yes,
including us here at Fox 5.
It's such a big story. People here love it. I first heard about them when they crossed the state line from Alabama into Georgia. Speaking of Joyce, she was there. She's obsessed with them. She actually has a picture of the monk on her desks. So it's a big story that we've been following, and the monks have made it to Washington, D.C.
Finally.
So this is where they wanted to end their peace walk. They said it was going to take 120 days, but it actually only took 108, so they're there early. And some really good local news. For those of you that have been following along, there was a monk from Snellville. He was injured and ended up having to have an amputation on the walk, so it's really sad, but he got to meet the monks in D.C. So there's a little piece of Georgia showing up with the monks in D.C. It's great. Thousands of people are there, and they're just so excited that they have done this. They actually added on an extra stop. They're going now from D.C. to Bethesda, Maryland, before they return to Fort Worth, Texas, where the actual walk started.
I'm so glad he was able to make that journey to D.C., albeit by airplane or car, I would assume, and not by foot. But that's full circle for him. Even though he had that incident in Texas, now he was able to join them for that last little, very small portion.
Yeah, but you can just tell everybody's so happy that they're there. It's a great story, and it might not be the last story. We'll have to keep watching their social media to see what's next for all the monks.
Do we have one more story? And I think it has to do with the Thunderbirds. Those are the high-flying United States Air Force pilots.
Yes, so it's actually really good news for the people that love the Thunderbirds. So, you know, every year Rome has their air show. It's normally in the fall. This year, it's actually going to be in April, and it's so exciting because of the the last government shutdown in October, the Thunderbirds weren't able to make it to the air show. But this time, they're going to be at the air show, and not only are they going to be at the air show, for the first time ever, they're going to be taking off from Rome. So what that means, they're going to be in Rome, the pilots are going to be there, the support crew are going to be there, so they really get to interact with the people at the show. Previously, they were taking off from Dobbins Air Force Base because the runway was longer, but the Richard B. Russell Airport in Rome just got a $5.7 million runway extension, which means the Thunderbirds can take off from the Rome airport.
Yeah, and so because previously they've been having to do it from what was it, Dobbins, as you mentioned. So
Dobbins,
this is actually going to allow them to have that community feel, because that's really why they love to travel the country and be able to do that, right?
Yes, and they love to interact with the people, see their faces, and now afterwards, they will get to interact with the people and see how thrilled they were to see the Thunderbirds there, instead of just flying back to Dobbins and landing where nobody was watching them.
Sam Daniel, thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We want to get to some more breaking news. We're going to transition off of that. I want to go back to the incident that happened up in Palmetto, the Palmetto Elementary School. We just heard from Fulton County Schools police just within the last couple of moments that an adult female was shot and killed on the school grounds this morning. Again, no students were involved. There's no word if any suspects are in custody. This is what Angelique was talking about when we checked in with her just about 30 minutes ago. We heard from Tanya Mendoza on our assignment desk, who was talking about Skyfox 5 that was flying over the area. We know the students had been removed from the campus. They had been taken by bus to Bear Creek Middle School in Fairburn. They, if you've been watching over the course of the last 45 minutes, you would have seen the buses begin that transition to Bear Creek Middle School in Fairburn. Obviously, this is an incident that is of grave concern for parents at that school. And if you're familiar with the area, that's Palmetto Elementary School and Carlton Road. We know a number of police officers were called out there. The school was immediately put on lockdown after the shooting that happened, according to investigators on the campus. They immediately then went on to lockdown. Again, no students were involved, and we do know that this was an adult female that was shot and killed, according to the Fulton County Schools Police Department. They're going to be handling the investigation. That's what Fox 5's Angelique Proctor has been telling us and reported just about 30 minutes or so ago. Obviously, this is information that we're working to try to get more details. We're going to be following this story over the course of the coming hours. Very scary that something like this happened. Hopefully they'll be holding a news conference shortly. We will be able to hear from them here on Fox Local at 1, or if it's even later, we'll just continue on with being able to have an update, hopefully either in the 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock hour. But we're going to work this story. Angelique Proctor is on the scene. She's the one who actually sent this update in just within the last about 2 or 3 minutes. So that is a story we are following right now, and we are going to continue to follow in the coming hours. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We're going to check in with, I believe it's Chris Rosenthal. He is standing by live and talking about monks, just some different monks, and healthcare. We're going to see him in just 2 minutes. Stay with us. 1:47 on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks so much for sticking with us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. This next story is actually pretty interesting to me, and I actually am interested to learn more. And I'll tell you why. It's a place known for quiet devotion. The monks of the Monastery of the Holy Spirit are expressing gratitude for a service that helps them maintain their way of life, primary care delivered directly to their doorstep. Fox's Chris Rosenthal is standing by with the details. And what is this about, and what do they get, and how important is something like this to them?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I'm at the Monastery of the Holy Spirit here in Conyers, and I'm actually in the sort of the medical area here. And there are 22 monks that call this monastery home, and that live here and live somewhat of a life of solitude, and they range anywhere from the ages of 97 to 26, so quite a wide range, but definitely a lot of some of them are. When you live a life of solitude like that, you still do need health care, and it's hard to get out and get to medical care. So Piedmont healthcare doctors have been coming here for years, actually, and treating these patients. And Dr. Gabby Calero, she came today. She's actually here today treating patients. In fact, she just had a patient leave her room today and got a good, clean bill of health, but she's got plenty more to go. And so, Dr. Calero, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you just saw one patient already, and so far so good, huh?
Yes.
Awesome. So, tell me, how did this get started? How did you guys get involved with helping these monks here?
So this started about more than 30 years ago by Dr. Djeev and Dr. Manning. They saw a need. They had 3 or 4 monks that needed health care, so they went ahead and started giving their services, I think, for free many years ago. And then Dr. Manning has been doing it now for the past 30 years, and he retired last year. So that's when he asked me to see if I could take over.
And, talking about why is it important that you come to see them versus them coming to see you?
So as you know, they do live a life of solitude. Some of them are older, have mobility issues. We actually have a bed-bound patient as well. So being able to bring primary care here is very important.
It helps. I was talking with the abbot here a little earlier today. He said, this really helps preserve their culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and what are some of you have to come out here, you have to come see them. What are some of the considerations you have to make because you're not in your office?
Yes, so I have to bring everything that I need with me. On the patient that can't really travel or needs help with transportation, we do blood work here. Anything that I need, I try to bring from the office. We also try to make everything logistically available for them, and I also usually have staff that helps me too.
Yeah. Otherwise, it just looks like a regular old doctor's appointment, huh?
It does.
Yeah. So, but sometimes if something gets severe, you do have to take them to the hospital, huh?
Yes, we have, and I am on call for them as well, so they're able to call my office. We do coordinate care with them there too. I also have a great staff that helps me. Dr. Potter here, Brother Emilio, also in the infirmary, helps a lot too. So we're able to really coordinate as a team to be able to bring them anything that they need.
How often are you coming here?
So Dr. Manning came every month. Unfortunately, because of my schedule, I'm doing every other month.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. They all pretty good shape, doing okay, or concerns?
Actually, they have really good health for people who are a lot older. I think the infirmary does a really good job of taking care of them. They take their medications, they're very compliant, which is always great to hear as a doctor, and they're doing really well.
Yeah, I guess they live a little off the grid. They have to make their own food and care for themselves. That probably helps a little bit too, I'm sure.
I think so too.
Absolutely. How does this make you feel to be here?
This is a blessing for me to be able to provide this. I'm a Catholic myself, so to be able to come here and provide this and to really answer God's call when He asks us to serve.
Yeah, absolutely. So 22 patients, you're seeing about 7 of them today, huh?
Today, yes.
Gotcha. 1 down, 6 more to go.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We'll be here hanging out with you for a little bit of that, and hopefully they all get a good clean bill of health before we get out of here. So yeah, Thank you so much, Dr. Gabby. So we'll hang with them today, and they really are very grateful, just to have the doctors come and visit them face to face. It's really important, again, to their culture, to their way of life, to be able to stay here and have that medical care on site.
Chris, thank you so much for bringing us that. That is truly mind-blowing that Piedmont is doing something like this. It's so great that they do that because they obviously need health care, and this is vitally important. Tom's joining me here on set. This is vitally important for them.
Yeah, it's a tremendous resource, and so fulfilling to be able to do that for those who might not otherwise be able to access that kind of health care.
Yeah.
It comes to them, which is so incredibly amazing.
Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much for joining us. We'll check in with you guys at 2, or with you at 2 and 3 o'clock. Appreciate your time, and hopefully maybe you'll be able to talk to one of those mugs. Chris, thanks so much. Now let's bring you back here into our studio here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We want to talk about The Pulse. This is a fun show that we do every single day on Fox Local and also on air on Fox 5. And basically, it's not an opinion show in a way, but we talk about subjects and then we let you guys at home take part. So what are we talking about today?
In a way, it's like all opinion, Tyler.
Yes.
All opinion all the time on The Pulse at 7 o'clock. Our opinion, your opinion, which makes it so much fun. We provide a QR code, or you can go to the Pulse, fox5atlanta.com/thepulse, and chime in on what we're talking about. We use a lot of comments on the air, by the way, which is fun to, kind of makes it an interactive show, because we put people's comments on the air and then we react, and it's one big fun circle. Last night we talked a lot about the Super Bowl, all aspects of it, the game, the halftime, the national anthem sang by Charlie Puth, which was a lot of fun, the flyover. Tonight, Tyler, have you ever reunited with somebody, like an old classmate from a long time ago, either at like a school reunion, or I don't know how long ago you went to school? It seems like
I've hit my tenure for college.
But reconnecting, we understand, according to a new survey, with old classmates, like people from a long, long time ago, in person, not on social media, does a lot to boost your mood. All right? As long as they're not better looking than you. No, I'm just kidding. It does a lot to boost your mood, and so we're going to talk about tonight at 7 whether we've ever reconnected with somebody from our distant past, what that was like, and what it did to our overall well-being.
You brought up the high school or college reunion. Would you go to one of those? I'm not sure I'm the type of person, and I don't think that would bring me enjoyment.
Why not?
I just, high school was in the past, college was in the past.
Right.
I like to live in the present. We are in the present right now. I would much rather have something like that where I could just stay where I am and just live my life in the moment instead of trying to relive the past. Because what is it about? Showing that maybe you're better than other people? I just don't think that's good.
And being surprised that, wow, you've changed over the years. But no.
For better or for worse.
Like you, I lost some hair too. But like you, I've never been to a reunion.
Oh, Tom, it's all there.
According to this survey, I'm not going to turn around. This kind of social connection from your distant past does a tremendous amount for your well-being. And so we're going to dig into that a little more tonight on The Pulse when you join us both here on Fox Local and, of course, on our broadcast channel, Fox 5 and fox5atlanta.com.
Do you think that's going to get a lot of viewer reaction?
Yeah, I really do. I really do, because people are going to say, oh, yeah, I reconnected with somebody, and here's what it did, and here's how I felt afterwards. So we
had one of our producers here at Fox 5 go to her, I think it was her high school reunion, Chelsea.
Yeah.
She did this around, I think it was Black Friday is when they did it. And she was all excited for it, and I just didn't get it.
Was she as excited after the reunion?
She seemed like she had a great time. She specifically, she worked, I think she worked Thanksgiving Day and then flew out or something.
Yeah.
And she was really willing to go, and I was like, I don't see the appeal. It would just make me cower. Like,
That dials right into this survey about being grateful and reconnecting and feeling good about yourself and those who you once had a closer relationship with long, long time ago.
Tom, I think this is going to get a lot of reactions, and hopefully we're able to do that, and people are able to comment. What is it? Fox5Atlanta.com/pulse, and it's through an app where you can just type in your comments, and we'll take it. You guys, and you read the comments on air, right?
On air, and then we talk about on them. We have a lot of fun. 7 o'clock right here on Fox 5 and Fox Local.
So we're going to, obviously, hopefully you guys at home can join us for that. And so as we continue on, we still have a lot more ahead on the news at 2 for Fox 5 News Live at 2. That's going to be hosted by our colleague, Judea Murray. I believe one of the things we're going to be talking about is going to be that breaking news we've been following over the last several hours, and that is Palmetto Elementary School. We know a hard lockdown unfolded there, and that they had to actually transition those students away because of a shooting, and it resulted in the death of a woman, according to the Fulton County Schools Police Department. We do have a live reporter who's on scene. Angelique Proctor has been gathering those details. Over the next 2 hours, she's going to check in with us and bring us those details, and we're going to make sure you get the very latest on that. And also Nancy Guthrie, we just got those new pictures. We've been following it all along throughout the last hour or so as you've been streaming along with us. We do appreciate you joining us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. The news at 2 continues in just 2 minutes. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey you guys, welcome to Fox 5 News Live at 2 o'clock. My name is Judea Murray. We're going to be talking about some of the biggest stories of the day. Remember that this is an interactive news conversation, so if you have some questions, you have comments, you can hit us up. We are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook as well. There are a lot of different places where you can stream us, but first we need to start with some breaking news. We learned that at Palmetto Elementary School, they have recently gone under a hard lockdown. The images pictures you're taking a look at right now show school buses pulling up to the school. Hopefully those students will be able to be let out soon. But what I can tell you is they say this lockdown is because there was a shooting on campus in which we learned that a woman lost her life. We don't have any information on the identity of that woman just yet, but again, I am telling you now, Fulton County Schools, they have confirmed that there was a shooting at Palmetto Elementary School. They have gone under hard lockdown. A woman was shot and killed. Now, we do have a statement from Fulton County Schools when this first happened. If you don't mind, I'd like to read it to you. Palmetto Elementary School is currently under a hard lockdown due to an active criminal investigation taking place outside the school. No Palmetto Elementary students are involved. All students and staff are safe. The school will remain in hard lockdown until law enforcement clears the scene for safety reasons. Parents and community members are asked not to come to the school at this time. As a precaution, all Palmetto Elementary students are being relocated to Bear Creek Middle School in Fairburn. Any additional information, including reunification instructions, will be shared as it comes available. And remember, this is a statement from Fulton County Schools. They just gave this to us here at Fox 5. Now, our Anjali Proctor's on the grounds out there. She's gathering the latest information. As soon as we do have an update for you guys, don't worry, we will bring it to you. I can tell you right now, we're planning to have a live update from her at 3 p.m. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Also, another breaking news piece of information I wanted to make sure you had. We just learned an ex-officer who's re-indicted in a deadly shooting is set to enter a plea soon. So his name is Russell Mathis. A plea hearing has been scheduled for him. He's a former DeKalb County Police Department officer. Again, this is information we have just gotten into the newsroom, so bear with me as I get it out to you. He was charged in connection with a shooting death of a Stone Mountain man. Again, that hearing is expected to take place 1 p.m. tomorrow. And just in case you needed a little bit more background information on this story, authorities say that Mathis, that former officer, and another officer were investigating a stolen car. It was found in the driveway of a home on Autumn Crest Court. They knocked on the front door. The door swung open. Officers came inside. As they cleared the home, as you know, is customary during an investigation, you're trying to look through and make sure everything is okay, and then you clear the space. When they cleared the house, Mathis opened the door to a dark upstairs bedroom. He encountered a man who was sitting on his bed. Investigators say that man threw a cell phone. Mathis thought it was a knife, and so he fired several shots, and he killed that man who was sitting on his bed. Turns out that that man was unarmed. Officers did later find a holstered gun in the room, but it was not on his body, and so he was pronounced dead at Grady Memorial Hospital. Prosecutors initially dropped indictments due to concern about some evidence, but they later re-indicted him after re-examining the case. So again, that hearing is set to take place at 1 p.m. tomorrow. We will certainly be trying to get you the latest information on that. All right, I want to bring you out to a story that really hits home for a lot of people. If you can imagine being at home, it goes up in flames, and now you're struggling to figure out where you're going to go next. I want to get right out to our reporter, Ray Llerena, who's at the scene. Ray, can you tell us more about this fire and how it affected the people who live there?
Yeah, Judea, we are outside Grady Memorial Hospital now, but when we talked to neighbors this morning, they say they woke up in the very early morning hours to see fire engine after fire engine responding to this fire just right outside of their front doors. Now, Atlanta firefighters tell us that when they responded to this duplex on Oliver Street in northwest Atlanta, they saw light smoke that was visible through the bottom of the front door. Firefighters say that one person was pulled out and given CPR before they were taken over to Grady Memorial Hospital. Sandy Phillips says that person was his roommate, and he says he had burns on his skin before he was transported to the hospital. Now, 2 people who were living next door and 2 dogs were able to get out safely, according to firefighters, and that fire was quickly put out. Atlanta Fire Rescue says the home smoke detectors were working when this fire started, which they credited for helping prevent a worse situation from happening. Phillips says this is what he saw as he returned home from a work trip this morning.
I just came back from Texas, and so tonight I came by here. I see the fire department coming down the street, and I didn't think it was my house, but the fire.
And we did speak with that couple next door who were able to get out safely from that duplex fire. They told me that their property management company has set them up with another place to stay for now, so that's a good sign. We've also seen plenty of American Red Cross volunteers on the scene, Judea, as they, after this fire, just helping out people, giving out care kits wherever they can, but the cause of this fire is still under investigation, Judea.
Ray, I understand the cause is still under investigation, but I hear you say that the officials say they were able to put this fire out so quickly, and then we look at images and it looks like that house was kind of destroyed, at least on the top. Have they spoken to how it was able to move so quickly? Anything like that?
Yeah, they were able to extinguish it quickly. They took a very aggressive attack because of the light smoke, so they were able to stay on scene for about 30 minutes, monitoring some of the hot spots, and they were able to put that out. But we have been trying out to reach out to the fire department for a status on the man who was taken to Grady Memorial earlier today. We have yet to hear back, but once we do hear an update on that man's condition, we'll be sure to let you know, Judea.
Okay, Ray, thank you so much. I know you have to get back to trying to learn more information, getting us more details. We hope to see you, I believe, at 4 o'clock on the news, at least later on. You guys can stick around and wait for his update on the Fox Local app. Ray, thank you. All right, still ahead, learning a little bit more about this deadly train and car crash that happened. This was in DeKalb County early this morning. So what we have so far, there was a vehicle that collided with a CSX train. Again, this was early this morning, probably around 2 a.m., and it happened near the Avondale Estates. So again, we heard that it was a CSX train, that crash happening at the North Clarendon Avenue and Ponce de Leon railroad crossing, in DeKalb County. One person was inside the car when this happened. That person was killed. Another person is injured. The passenger side of the vehicle appeared to sustain most of the damage. You got to see some images from that car just a few minutes ago. Now, no one on the train was injured. That's probably the only silver lining that we have out of this story here. But CSX did release a statement after this happened. I want to read it to you. It says that approximately 1:56 a.m. on Tuesday, a CSX train came in contact with an occupied vehicle at the North Clarendon Avenue and Ponce de Leon Avenue crossing in Scottsdale, Georgia. DeKalb County Public Safety quickly responded to the scene and reported 2 occupants were inside the vehicle at the time of the incident. One was fatally injured while the other one was transported to a nearby hospital with some unknown injuries. There were no injuries to the crew. CSX extends its deepest sympathies to everyone impacted by the tragic incident and will continue to support local law enforcement as they complete the investigation. Now, officials have not told us who these people were who were all involved in all of this. The injured person's current condition also remains unknown, so we don't have that just yet. Now, there was a shooting out at a library in Decatur, a beloved library, and we've recently learned that it reopened today. But a couple of things are going to change there. For example, they want heightened security, which is pretty understandable when someone was able to enter the library with a firearm and deploy it. So again, the DeKalb County Public Library, they announced that today that library in Decatur would be reopened. It opened at 10 a.m. this morning. But again, they said that they want some new entry procedures designed to provide a safe and secure environment for everybody who wants to come in and get a book, maybe even bring their children to the library. They say our commitment to a safe reopening is our top priority. The reopening that was originally planned for February 9th, we know, was rescheduled, and they were hoping that that would allow for some additional coordination for those enhanced safety measures that they were talking about there. So we haven't been back out, Fox 5 Atlanta has been back out to the library since it reopened, but it would be interesting to see how the people who study there, who use the computers and other resources are faring, especially knowing what took place. So that's the latest there on that library shooting and that reopening that we know happened today. All right, you guys have probably been keeping up with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. We are now in the 10th day. I'm taking a look at our time now. Before I tell you about the latest that we have on that, I want to get right out to our Angelique Proctor. She's our reporter who has been covering this Palmetto Elementary School lockdown. Again, we just recently learned Okay, we just recently learned that a woman was shot and killed during that incident. It does seem like we need to give Angelique a little bit more time, so before we go to her, I'll continue with that story with Nancy Guthrie. Again, you guys have probably heard that 84-year-old out in Tucson, Arizona. She is the mother of Savannah Guthrie. She has been missing now for 10 days. Pleas from the family to try to get her back. So we do know our Amalia Roy is live from Tucson, Arizona with the latest on the search, and we just got some images released to us as well showing the potential person of interest in that case. I'm looking now, and perhaps we don't have Amalia just yet either. You know, as we are going to take a step back, when we come back, hopefully we'll be able to talk to our Angelique Proctor from that shooting outside of Palmetto Elementary School. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. Maybe less than an hour ago, the FBI released new images that appear to show a masked person. It may be a person of interest in this missing persons case of Nancy Guthrie. I want to get right out to our Amalia Roy. She's live for us from Tucson, Arizona. Amalia, there are a lot of questions that I could ask you, but let's start with these pictures. What does that tell us about where we are in the search that they're willing to release them?
What we've known from the beginning is that law enforcement has had a difficult time getting the surveillance video, saying that video had been tampered with and having to go through extended means to actually find the surveillance video to begin with. From the initial photos that were released earlier, FBI Director Kash Patel said, working with our partners as of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. They began releasing photos from this doorbell video, but over the course of the past hour, we're now seeing new video come out. You can see a man wearing a mask, or a person wearing a mask wearing gloves, walking up and trying to cover up the camera. You can see it first with their hand, and then you see see them going into what looks to be bushes or foliage, trying to cover up the camera that way. That is the most we have so far from any suspect, because from the beginning, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI says that they have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case. That remains true even with this video and photo coming out. But now we also know that the White House has commented on this video that has come out, with White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saying, in part, I was once again with the president. He and I were both reviewing the newly released surveillance footage from FBI in the Savannah Guthrie case on just this heartbreaking situation with respect to her mother. The FBI is still asking for any and all tips that could lead them to identify a suspect. Savannah Guthrie reposting these photos and videos as well as an FBI missing poster that we've also been seeing on billboards across the southwestern United States.
You know, Amalia, it's interesting for you to tell us that Caroline Leavitt has commented on it. I know she was supposed to have that White House press briefing starting at 1 o'clock and was late for it. And so I assumed, too, then that maybe she was looking at some of these images before she came out. From what you just said, I guess that confirms that for us. But I have another question for you. We know the Guthries have put out a couple of statements so far in hopes that they can reach someone who knows where their mother is. Have they had time to comment on these images just yet? Do you know?
You know that Savannah Guthrie has posted over social media with these images, still asking the public for their help in finding her mother. We know that this is also coming after a deadline had passed for a ransom note that had been sent to media outlets last week, and that deadline was 5 p.m. yesterday Mountain Time. And so that is the last video she has released commenting on the situation, but she is reposting these photos and videos from the FBI as they come in asking for the public's help.
Another question that I have for you, maybe you do or don't know the answer, but some people are wondering, all these ransom notes have come out, but to our knowledge, they haven't been paid yet, right?
Yes, the FBI first has not given any credibility to these ransom notes. They have not said if they are actually directly tied to whoever took Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, or if these are separate. But we do know that shortly after the deadline had passed, the FBI did put out a statement saying that they weren't aware of any communication between the Guthrie family and the kidnappers.
Which is important to note, because I know one of the biggest things, they keep asking for any sort of sign that they can be given that their mother is alive, and I don't believe they've gotten that just yet either.
No, and Savannah Guthrie has said in her most recent video she believes that her mother is out there. She believes that she is hearing the public's prayers, and she is thankful for that. But she's also mentioned that this is a desperate time, and if anyone across the country has any information about where her mother could be, that she is begging for them to come forward. And this is something that the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has amplified when she last commented.
Thank you so much for bringing us the latest here on this. This is obviously a story that has eyes from all over the country, maybe even some people from outside of the country, especially given that this is Savannah Guthrie's mother, host of the Today Show. So Amalia, again, thank you for bringing us the latest, especially as we just got those images into our newsroom. This was a very quick turnaround. Still ahead, you guys. Remember, we're talking also about some breaking news happening closer to home here in Georgia. Palmetto Elementary School is on a hard lockdown. We just learned that a woman was shot and killed on campus, and that's where Anjali Proctor could pick things up. Anjali, what are you learning so far? You are right there on the grounds.
Yes, we've gotten closer today, and this is a very disturbing development. We have been now confirmed from the Fulton County Schools police that a woman was in fact shot and killed. That actually happened here on the property of Palmetto Elementary School this morning. In fact, I'm told the time was about 11:10 of this deadly shooting. You might be able to see some police tape there, which indicates the shooting seemed to have happened on the backside here here near this parking lot. The obvious question now, though, is who did the shooting and was an arrest made? Fulton County Schools told us that there was no safety concerns for anybody present, so you got to wonder what happened there. That we do know, and we want to stress that the students were not involved or injured at all. But as you can imagine, parents, the moment they heard this, the school district sent out emails. The moment they got information that there had been a very serious incident here, they rushed here to the school. With the nation having so many school shootings, you had to wonder as a parent. But that email indicated that none of the children were harmed, none of the children were involved. We talked, though, to several parents who were very, very anxious. I asked the school district how many students attend here at this school. They tell me about 550 of them, and they have all been safely moved to Bear Creek Middle School. I know we had some video of the school buses heading in and heading out with the students on board, so they are now safe over at Bear Creek Middle School. We are told that parents can pick up over there. Many of them have still been coming by here asking us, what's next, and we send them over to Bear Creek Middle School. But right now we are hoping that Fulton School Police will give us some more information about who this woman was and what drew her here to Palmetto Elementary School this morning around 11:10 when this deadly shooting happened. So that is the very latest that we have now for you, Judea.
Angelique, it's very interesting the details that we're finding out in this, especially as it pertains. You mentioned there that when school shootings happen, some of the parents, they want to hurry up and get out there to meet up with their children. But one thing we are hearing from the school system, Fulton County Schools, is that they want parents, community members to stay away while the investigation continues. Is that right?
That is correct. They have asked parents not to rush here to the scene. This does appear to be a domestic type situation where there is no shooter on the loose, if you will, no concerns of safety for the community or the neighborhood. And so they are asking parents just to head over to Bear Creek Middle School to pick their students up.
Okay. Thank you so much for bringing us the latest. Again, I know you also have to still get out there and get more information. This is a crazy story that we're trying to all unpack together since it just recently unfolded for us. So I'll let you get back to gathering some of the news of the day. We'll see you again, I believe, at 3 p.m.
Absolutely. See you then.
Angelique, thank you for bringing us the latest. All right, you guys, while we are talking about shootings happening near schools, I do want to make sure we are up to date on what's happening with the Appalachia school shooting happening in Barrow County. So the father of the suspected school shooter, Colt Gray, his name is Colin Gray, and he is expected to be in court. They are having a trial, but jury selection is still underway. So we are keeping our eyes on that. As soon as that trial does officially begin, trust and believe that we here at Fox 5 News Live, here on Fox Local and Fox 5 Atlanta, will try to bring you the latest and hopefully be able to get live shots from inside the inside the courtroom, where you can pay attention and be a part of that court hearing and trial as it goes on. But coming back into the studio, I brought our meteorologist Alex Forbes on over here. We got a lot of breaking news today, but we also need to pay attention to what's happening in the skies with the weather.
Not a lot.
Okay, well that's our first piece of good news so far in this show.
So it's warm outside. You might be looking up to see some cloud cover, but so there's nothing falling from the sky yet. It's 68 in Atlanta right now, so we're on our way to the 70s,
February.
Right? Yeah, our average high is 57, so we're already 11 degrees above that. How about this though? Covington already to 70, Eatonton at 72 now, 71 over in Rome at this hour, 70 in Blairsville, and 66 over in Gainesville. Here's the satellite and radar picture. You see that area of high pressure out along the Atlantic. That's really driving our wind right now, but the cold front up to our north and to our west is going to usher in some showers later on this evening. But before all is said and done, there's Atlanta there at 72, 74 in Covington, 74 in Eatonton, 69 in Blairsville, and 73 in Dalton for the afternoon high temperature. All right, so we're going to be dry tonight, completely dry, but look for morning showers tomorrow for your Wednesday morning commute. 70% chance of rain. It's possible that 1 or 2 sprinkles hang around for for the evening hours, but I'm expecting most people tomorrow afternoon, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, heading home from work and school, to be drying out across metro Atlanta. The rain chance tomorrow at 70%. I'm going to show you some totals here in just a second. We're not going to see a lot of rain for Wednesday, but for the weekend, it does appear that way. 30% chance of rain for Valentine's Day there on Saturday. A change from yesterday to today is that the rain chance is not as high on Saturday, so the timing is shifting more into Sunday. And I don't want to pull the plug on Sunday just yet, but it is trending towards a washout. That's the verbiage I'm using there. So if you have any outdoor plans on Sunday, something to be mindful of. Here we go, hour by hour into the evening. There's some cloud cover for you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. You see some scattered showers through the overnight, but the bulk of the rain really looks to push through sometime during that morning commute tomorrow. Not looking for any storm activity out of this in our neck of the woods, maybe down in southern Georgia. We will clear out though for the afternoon and certainly into Thursday as temperatures begin to rebound. Not a ton though. We'll be in the 60s as opposed to the 70s. So how much rain are we talking about? Not a whole lot. All right. So generally speaking, somewhere between a tenth to maybe a third of an inch at best, maybe some higher amounts up across the North Georgia mountains. But as I alluded to, we're going to have a better chance of seeing some, potentially several inches worth of rain this weekend. So 65 as the showers come through tomorrow, 64 for Thursday. Look at Saturday, 55. So even if it's not raining on Valentine's Day, it still does appear to be cloudy. And then back up to 62 by President's Day there on Monday. Counting down the days to lots of days. It's going to be a busy week. You got Valentine's Day 4 days from now, President's Day next Monday, Mardi Gras is next Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day a little more than a month away, and then spring begins in 38 days, according to the astronomers. Meteorologists have a different idea. So there's your Fox 5 Storm Team's 7-day forecast. Roller coaster continues.
Absolutely. The one day I'm looking forward to, Valentine's Day, I do see a little bit of rain in your forecast. I'm hoping, though, that doesn't rush out anyone's Valentine's Day.
Like I said, the timing is trending more into Sunday. Now, if you're going to be out at midnight Saturday night, maybe you're going to get wet.
You don't know what people are interested in.
Yeah, but definitely the first part of the day appears dry. It's the latter part.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And, today, as you mentioned, is a very beautiful day, especially here in Atlanta. Very different story. It's much colder where the 2026 Winter Olympics are happening. I don't know if you know this, Alex, but there's only one Georgian competing in the Winter Olympics, and she's from Georgia.
She's from Douglasville?
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
I did know that.
We actually have some images of her. She's a bobsledder, and she is very well decorated. Her name is Alana Myers Taylor. She will be competing in her 5th Olympic Games when she decides to race. I believe that's happening February 15th. So make sure that you are all watching. She's on the quest for gold, and I do think that she will make it. Like I said, she is very well decorated. She'll compete in both the monobob and 2-woman bobsled events at the 2026 Games. And as Alex said there, she is a Douglasville, Georgia native, so we are for sure rooting for her. All right, you guys have heard of the monks. They're the Buddhist monks. But here in Georgia, we know that there's another set of monks who, have been welcoming people into their homes, talking more about religion and peace. I want to get right out to our Chris Rosenthal. He's out in Conyers. Chris, tell us a little bit more. You're at the monastery today, right?
Yeah, I'm at the Monastery of the Holy Spirit here in Conyers, and beautiful place if you've never been. What's really cool is they have 22 monks here, and those monks, of course, they have somewhat of a life, living a little bit off the grid, and they range in ages anywhere from 26 to 97 years old. And so, going to see the doctor, it's a little tricky. They do need medical care, and going to leaving the area, if you will, is a little bit tricky with their life of solitude. So Piedmont Healthcare has doctors that have been coming, making house calls, coming to see them in groups, and one of those doctors is here today. We're going to actually come in, and she's actually visiting with one of the patients here now.
This is Dr. Calero, and this is Emilio. So, Dr. Calero, so tell me, how did Piedmont get started with this?
So Dr. DeGieve and Dr. Manning actually started about 30 years ago. Dr. Manning retired last year and asked me to take over.
And you know, talk to me about the care that you give these monks here.
Sure. When everything started, they noticed that there was a need for health care, especially primary care here at the monastery. So that's how it started. And then Dr. Manning has been able to come here every month. And then when he retired, he's asked me to come and take over. And then we provide primary care, and we try to bring the healthcare world to them here at the monastery.
Absolutely. You know, this gets you out of the. You normally work in the doctor's office, but this is your doctor's office today, huh?
It is.
And you come here, you know, every other month or so. And you know, seeing these monks, I mean, what does it mean to them as far as, you know, their life of solitude, if you will?
For me, it's a privilege to be able to provide primary care to them, especially with Piedmont wanting us to really, our mission is to provide primary care closer to home, and we're able to do that here. But for them to be able to live their life every day and have someone come in, especially when we have a bedbound patient here in the infirmary, I think they're very happy to be able to, for us to provide them with this service.
Any special considerations since you have to come here?
Sometimes blood work, sometimes vaccines, medication. The infirmary is actually very well run. Actually, my brother Emilio himself, he's a great asset here to all the monks, and he's the one who helps us coordinate the care. Him and then our sister, Dr. Potter, as well.
Is it? You know, are they pretty good patients? Do they take their medicines?
They're excellent, actually. They do take their medications. We coordinate blood draws. Sometimes we draw it here. We also coordinate with my office in Conyers. So we're very happy to be able to take care of them.
Is it clean bill of health so far today?
Everything looks good so far.
Everything looks good so far. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for letting us come visit with you here in the middle of this appointment. I don't want to disturb you. Pretty nice having them, though, huh?
Thank you. May God bless you.
Thank you so much, Amelia. So I'll let you guys get back to your appointment here. So, but yeah, so she's seeing several patients here through this afternoon. You know, it's really means a lot to these monks. You know, again, some of them are a little up in age, so to be able to have the healthcare really, you know, come to them, and again, that really helps, you know, cater to their culture, to their life of, you know.
Chris, you started to break up at the end there, but one thing that I found interesting when I heard that you were on this story today, this is one of those things that you don't necessarily think about, and then you see it and you're like, oh, that's how they do it. Every now and again, when I'm out at the grocery store, in the park, sometimes I'll see, I think they are Buddhist monks, because they're usually in their garb in the orange, you know, walking among people, but I don't necessarily see Christian monks or any other kind of monks out and about. So again, it's just one of those things I never thought about. They aren't going to the hospital, but they still need medical treatment. How do they get that? I don't know. But it's been cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, they live a pretty self-sustaining life. They do a lot of their own. You know, monks typically do a lot of their own, you know, cooking and taking care of themselves, and you know, they do leave when they have to. They're not completely reclusive, but they do live, you know, a life where they stay here for the most part. Many of them don't even have cell phones. So some of them do, and then are connected to the outside world. In fact, I was talking with the abbot a little earlier today, and he said he didn't know who won the Super Bowl. So, but again, you know, having these sort of you know, outside world come to them, because they do need medical care, of course. It really is a big help.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, it's making sure that they can still keep their promise with God, but also still be able to reach out to the outside world in some way, shape, or form, still stay connected, which again, it is cool, especially in this day and age, to see how that works. So you guys, this has been Chris Rosenthal reporting for us from the monastery. Chris, you as well, you'll be available in the 3 o'clock so we can see some more and hear some more about this, right?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you at 3. All right, you guys, still ahead. While we're talking about the monks here in Georgia, remember those 19 monks who started in Texas? They made a 2,300-mile trek hoping to reach Washington, D.C. Well, we have learned they did make their goal, and any minute now they're expected to start their Unity Walk. Hopefully we'll have a live camera out there. As soon as that does happen, we will be sure to bring you out there live to see where the monks and a look of the peace dog are at now. Hey guys, welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Judea Murray. Have you been keeping up with the monks? Because thousands, maybe even closer to hundreds of thousands of people certainly have been. They started out in Texas. They planned to walk until they made their way to Washington, D.C. It ended up taking them, 108 days? I believe that's right. And today is, of course, day 108. So we know that all of this was supposed to be a walk for peace. They wanted to spread the mission, the topic, the subject of peace everywhere that they went. They even made their way here to Georgia. A lot of people lined the streets, taking their children, giving them offerings, also accepting some bracelets from them along the way. We fell in love with not only the 19 monks that were walking, but Aloka the peace dog too, who now has his own Facebook page. He was a stray who they took in because he wanted to make that walk with them as well. Every now and again he's had to stop and take a rest, but he has been just as dedicated as these monks have been to spreading that mission of peace. Now again, we know that today they reach DC. Any minute now, I'm looking over in the side because we have another live camera up. Any minute now we're expecting them to start their Unity Walk, which will be one of the last movements that they do in this 2,300-mile walk. Again, all taking place out in Washington, D.C. There was a prayer gathering at the Washington National Cathedral about an hour ago. We also know that later on tonight they will be making a stop at George Washington University, but that's supposed to be a private event. So again, it's just been really interesting watching how dedicated they have been. Even one of the monks who's involved in some sort of accident, whose leg had to be amputated, made his way back to be a part of this walk as well. So again, when I say that they have been dedicated, I truly mean that. The one thing that they are aiming to do, while they do say this walk has not been political, they're hoping hoping to turn Buddha's birthday into a federal holiday. I'm not sure if that's why they chose Washington, D.C. as their endpoint or not, but that does seem to be one of the things that they're requesting from Congress. And again, all of that is happening today. If we do get that live camera, I'd love to take you out there so we can watch them make that last unity walk together. But closer to home, the murder trial, Tara Baker, she was a student from UGA, a law school student who unfortunately was killed. They found her body in her burning Athens apartment complex a day before she was going to turn 24. It was supposed to be her birthday. Over 2 decades later, police arrested a man named Edric Foss. They charged him with malice murder and a couple of other counts. We do have a live camera from the courtroom that you're taking a look at now. I'm wondering if we can all listen in together to see where they are in testimony.
Outside your presence, I was not aware of. You'll have a seat and don't discuss the case. We had done this before the jury came out, Mr. Cruz, but go ahead.
And I apologize, Your Honor. I was under the belief that Jeremy Howell was going to testify, and that's why I didn't bring it up. I was going to wait till Ms. Bigham testify before I brought it up. But we're going to get into, with Ms. Bigham, her case file and the case file. As the court is aware, during a prior hearing, Ms. Bigham testified that she's seen every document in this case. One of the documents that we're going to discuss with Ms. Bigham includes where Mr. Foss was staying at the time of, or at least the weekend of Ms. Baker's death. I would ask the Honorable Court, because the only thing we're going to get into is just the address and where he was staying. However, it goes into a matter that the state has expressed that they don't intend to introduce in this case. And I would like the Honorable Court to provide an instruction to Ms. Bigham not to delve into the incident or the specifics of the incident involving Mr. Foss and Mr. Christian Foster. And we will not open that door by asking specific questions about the situation with Mr. Foss and Mr. Foster. We only intend to discuss Mr. Foss's address on the weekend of Ms. Baker, and before Ms. Baker's death.
All right, so it's motion in limine.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any response to the motion?
I guess I would like to know what the document is first that Mr. Cruz is making reference to.
Didn't we also already have a motion in limine with regard to Mr. Foster?
We did not have a hearing on this. The state stated that they did not intend to call Mr. Foster.
Okay, so we've had a discussion. Okay.
Picture. I don't want it to fall on it. Picture looks like it's about to fall.
All right, so you guys are taking a live look inside the courtroom. Just in case you are unaware, unfamiliar with this story, I'll go back over some of the details again. Tara Baker, she was a 23-year-old woman from UGA. Back in 2001, she was found dead in her burning Athens apartment building. It took 20-plus years for police to finally make an arrest. The person that they have charged with her murder, with a couple of other charges, is Edric Foss. He's actually in the courtroom right now. This is a trial for him to see whether or not he will be convicted of her murder. What I can tell you about the case so far, again, yes, she was found in her apartment building. During court, we have heard from roommate, I believe last We also heard from her ex-boyfriend at the time and what he knew about this situation. His name is Chris Melton. He was initially interviewed by police, ultimately ruled out as a suspect. And so again, Edric Foss is the person who is on trial as we speak. So this has been going, I believe we're now in week 2 of this trial, of this case. You can watch it in its entirety. We've been streaming every single day on YouTube and Facebook. So if this is of interest to you, that is a place where you can get some more information and be able to watch the trial in its entirety day in and day out. All right, another case everybody has been interested in, everybody talks about it all over social media, the Epstein files, and what happened latest with Ghislaine Maxwell, the ex-girlfriend of now disgraced dead Jeffrey Epstein. She declined to answer some questions from House lawmakers in a deposition just yesterday, but she did indicate that if President Donald Trump were willing to end her prison sentence, she'd be willing to testify that neither he nor former President Bill Clinton had done anything wrong in their connections with Epstein. We have seen photos, we have seen inferences that both former President and now President Donald Trump are somewhere implicated somehow, some way in the Epstein files. But so far there has been no connection that they have any criminal connections to what was happening out there. Now, the House Oversight Committee said that they wanted Maxwell to answer their questions during a video call to the federal prison camp in Texas where she's being held. She's been serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking, but she invoked her Fifth Amendment right to not speak up, not to say anything, and also to avoid answering questions that would be considered self-incriminating. So we actually have a statement from Sigrid McCauley. She's one of the attorneys for one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. I want to let you listen into kind of the way that she sees Ghislaine Maxwell and how she wants to see this case go if continued.
Ghislaine Maxwell certainly has critical information that would help us understand exactly, what happened and who was there at varying times. Some of that we've been able to piece together through the information from other witnesses, et cetera, but she was definitely at the center of this. The problem is she will never tell the truth. So we saw that during the deposition that we took in my case several years ago, where she lied repeatedly time after time again. We saw that in her most recent interview with Todd Blanche with the government. She lied repeatedly, provably false things she was stating during that interview. So the problem with the attention to her and giving her a voice is that there is no truth in what she says. Well, I think that it's been frustrating to see the government giving her an audience. We saw the interaction with her with Todd Blanche several months ago, where she was asked what I would view as very softball questions and not put to task on any of her answers.
Well, so there you have it again. That is one of the attorneys for one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein speaking there candidly about what she feels about Ghislaine Maxwell and whether or not she would be willing to testify, whether or not she would believe anything, even if she were forced to answer some questions. But again, all we know right now is that she has asked President Donald Trump and the Trump administration whether she could be granted clemency if she went ahead and did testify. So there's the latest there on that. Still ahead, you guys, the Atlanta Braves are experiencing spring training. This is the first official day of their training. We'll have a live report from our Victor Prieto, who's out there in Florida covering the latest of it. We'll have all that and more when we come back. Hey guys, welcome to Fox 5 News Live. I'm Jade Murray. The Atlanta Braves, baseball season is getting ready to get started. The Braves, though, are getting started on their preparations for the big season. I want to get right out to our Fox 5 sports team reporter, Victor Prieto. First of all, you have the best assignment. You're live from Florida right now?
Yeah, I would say the weather's a little nicer here than it may be there in Atlanta. No, it's a pretty fun assignment today. My first time down here in spring training. We're in Northport, Florida, Cool Today Park, where the Braves are ready to go here for spring training. It's been pretty cool.
Okay, so Victor, I'm kind of a newbie when it comes to sports, so walk me through it like I'm a kindergartner. What is spring training all about? What is their aim to do there?
Yeah, of course. Well, spring training, basically, it's the ramp up to the season, right? The MLB season, football season, we saw it's over, the Super Bowl this weekend. So now it's officially baseball season. So essentially for the next month and a half, I would say, until opening day later in April, the Braves and the rest of the MLB across are down here in Florida, some in Arizona, kind of getting ready for this season. So it's a ramp-up period. Yesterday, pitchers and catchers reported here. Today, their first official day of practice. So we saw guys stretching, guys kind of getting ready, and the rest of hitters will report later this week. Some of them still, though, kind of show up and arrive early. We saw Ozzie Albies, the starting second baseman for the Braves, kind of report too. He was hitting today. Drake Baldwin, a catcher, was here also. So it's a lot of guys getting ready for the season.
Okay, now Victor, be honest. How are they looking out there? Do we have a winning team this year?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the big news today was Spencer Schwellenbach. They placed on the 60-day IL. He's a starting pitcher for the Braves who he dealt with injuries last season, and he had some right arm inflammation, so they placed him on the IL. They said he's expected to miss some time. That's definitely the big shocker and big news today. It wasn't expected. We know the Braves last year didn't have the best of season. The first time they didn't make the postseason in 8 years, and they were hoping this year, they are hoping that they can change that, but off to a wrong start here on the first day of spring training, already getting bad news that one of your best starting pitchers is going to be out for a significant portion of the time.
Okay, so we have that update. Another new thing I'm seeing, there may be some differences we're seeing in leadership. So we know Brian Snitker is out. Who's in for manager?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's definitely the big storyline. By the way, here, I'm going to flip it so you guys can see. You don't see my face so much here. Take a nice look at the park here as we see the nice retired numbers of all the Braves here at Cool Today Park. But yes, Brian Snitker is out, retired last year after 10 years as the manager of the Braves, and Walt Weiss will be taking over. He was the bench coach for the Braves the last 8 seasons. It's his first time as manager. We spoke to him earlier today about his first day as manager. He was a manager before in prior years at the Rockies, so he has have manager experience, but his first time with the Braves as the head skipper. He said it was a lot of fun. He's been waiting for this moment. Right now, he called this kind of portion of spring training a meet and greet a little bit because, it's really a ramp-up period. Not the entire team is here, but he's very excited to hit the ground running and get going down here in Northport.
So, Victor, I know the sports team has been out there working hard, trying to get different interviews and whatnot for us. You were able to get us some sound that we can play here. What player did you guys talk to? And tell me a little bit about what he said to you.
Yeah, let's we'll hear a second from Sean Murphy. He's one of the Braves catchers. So we were talking about the injury bug earlier. He is also injured right now. He's expected, hopeful to come back by May. Yeah, but he has a lingering hip injury that he was messing with last year that he had to get surgery for. So he's out. But kind of talking about Walt Weiss, some other things here. But we spoke to him earlier this morning and kind of getting a grip of being back here for spring training.
I know they happen, but there's anything that you've been working on to make sure they aren't as prevalent?
Trying to stay flexible and, get the range of motion back. And I've been just focusing on the hip, but, also taking care of the shoulder and the other parts as well.
What do you anticipate will be the biggest transition going from Snit to Walt, if any?
I think it's sort of we've seen a little bit, but I know Walt's going to do his best to make it smooth, and he sits down here in camp too, so it'd be good to have him here too. But I think we'll see.
How do you evaluate this catchers group? Because it's kind of a similar group from last year. Chadwick back, Drake obviously coming off Rookie of the Year. It seems like this is a really cohesive unit.
Yeah, obviously, Drake, being a stud and winning Rookie of the Year, that was awesome. So happy for him, and expect a lot from that guy, obviously, but I think a lot of familiarity with the pitchers is important, and so Trumpy and Drake being around, as well as Sandy too, so a lot of the same faces for guys.
How much does it help having so much, camaraderie from last season, and new manager, but of course a guy that's already been here? Does that help, and that feeling when you went to the final?
Yeah, it just makes communication easier. The more you know guys, and more you know how to communicate with them, and you kind of get past that small talk phase early on. When you meet somebody, you can kind of know how to just talk to somebody and get to the heart of the issue there. If you're talking about a pitch mix or something or sequencing.
What are your thoughts on the the robotic umpires this year? So what are your thoughts on just getting ready for it, working with it, things like that?
I think every team's trying to figure out what the approach is going to be on that, and I know that's one of the first things that we're going to address. We got Dustin Garneau with the catching coaches, and we're going to go over with the analytics teams and see what our strategy is going to be. And I think there's going to be a skill to it, and I think being good at challenging pitches is going to be something that we can train. I think we're going to do our best to be as accurate as possible, because flipping those close pitches is important, and I think we see it every night on TV that those borderline ones, when they go your way, they change the game.
Do you think you'll
Yeah, so back out here at Cool Today Field Park. You see the beautiful field behind us. It looks really nice down here at spring training. Obviously, a lot more. Sean Murphy mentioned something about the automatic robot umpires. Well, they'll be able to use that here in spring training. The MLB is kind of roll that out as a test trial to see how it works. Basically, teams are going to have 2 reviews per game where the pitcher or the catcher, or the hitter rather, can all use a review, and they'll go to the automatic robo-ump, so we'll see how that works too. But a lot of fun storylines down here at spring training.
Victor, we are for sure looking forward to seeing what the sports team is able to bring us in terms of coverage while our shows continue. So thank you for making some time for us here in the 2 p.m. hour. I'll let you get back to having all the fun with all the players out there. So,
you got it. Thanks.
Of course. I told you guys Victor was reporting from us all the way out in North Point, Florida, so a pretty big deal. And also, once again, probably the most fun assignment of the day. Well, you guys do know this weekend is Valentine's Day. I don't know if that makes you excited or maybe that scares you a little bit, but one thing that we are doing on Valentine's Day, if you're a cynic, not just breaking hearts, but maybe even breaking the bank. We heard that we're expected to break records with the National Retail Federation predicting $29 billion to be spent for Valentine's Day. They think that people are going to be spending about $199.78 on average for their gifts, which is crazy. It's also an increase from $188.81 just last year. I did my Valentine's Day shopping. I brought in a Tom Haynes. Yes,
you're on top of it.
I wanted to make sure I didn't have the stuff that everybody was going to have. I also wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get left in the wind.
So I've heard a couple of things being bandied about in the newsroom regarding Valentine's Day, and something we talked about on the Pulse every weeknight at 7 p.m. right here on Fox Local and Fox 5 is that somebody asked, and I believe it was one of our executive producers who shall remain nameless, if it was okay to buy the flowers a week ahead of Valentine's Day so that he could get a good deal on them, or even a week after, because then they're on sale.
No,
what do you think of that?
To both.
No.
Well, you guys weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comment section.
The other thing is that a lot of people are you can make a reservation at Waffle House to go out to dinner. I love the notion of making a reservation to go to Waffle House.
As my face looks like this, they do have a nicer setup for
because that way you can say, hey, honey, I made a reservation for us to go to Waffle House. But you made the reservation.
Tom, could
that
you
takes
imagine
planning.
telling somebody you made a reservation? You don't say where, so they get all dressed up, and then you pull up to Waffle House.
Table for two? Chicken and waffle, anyone?
Lord have mercy. Okay, so that's what we have there on Valentine's Day, but
we got a lot
real news ahead.
On a more serious note, Judea, ahead here in the 3 p.m. hour, getting that latest video in the Savannah Guthrie mother disappearance case. We're going to talk about that. Also, we have a lot to talk about in terms of this afternoon, a vehicle colliding with, this happened on train tracks right in the middle of Avondale Estates. This is the new video we got of the Savannah Guthrie investigation. Very spooky, creepy video. We're going live to Tucson, by the way, to find out the latest in the investigation. Then we're going to talk about this train crash in Avondale Estates where a car went over the train tracks and was struck, leaving at least one person dead. We have video of the scene and the latest on the investigation coming up. We have a team of reporters ready to go, standing by live with the latest on a host of other stories still to come here in the 3 p.m. streaming hour. So we hope you'll stick around and join us.
For sure, Tom. I'll let you get right to it. It's going to be an amazing show ahead. You guys, stay tuned.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for streaming with us here in the 3 p.m. hour. I'm Tom Haynes with you live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. We have a ton of breaking news to get you caught up on today. We're going to lead with that breaking news out of Tucson, Arizona, where the FBI has just released new images and video in the disappearance of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother. They are ominous, creepy photos and video that were really released here just in the last hour or two. Images of what appears to be a gentleman approaching or a person approaching the door of Nancy Guthrie's home dressed head to toe in clothing that is disguising his or her identity. The FBI releasing this in hopes that somebody can recognize this individual with a couple of telltale signs: that reflection coming from the mouth of that individual, the fact that he's holding a weapon on him, and that he's using his right hand, his shoes, his clothing. This is, again, doorbell video just released by the FBI. We have a live reporter that is going to join us from Tucson, Arizona here in just a couple of minutes with the latest on the investigation and what authorities hope to glean from the release of these images. We're also getting new information on a story that's breaking right here in our own neck of the woods about the deadly incident at Palmetto Elementary School today. The school put on a hard lockdown after reports of a shooting that recently we learned was deadly. Let's get out to Angelique Proctor, who's on top of this for us this afternoon. Angelique, what more do we know about what happened here?
Well, good afternoon to you, Tom. It's something that we just hate to hear, that our school grounds are becoming crime scenes, but that is exactly what happened here at Palmetto Elementary School. Let me jump out of the way here. New information that we have learned is that a woman was in fact shot and killed here, not far from where you see those red lights flashing. That's actually the front of the school, we have been told. That happened, that deadly shooting happened around 11:10 this morning. Now, we want to stress right off the top that there were no students who were involved or injured. In fact, many of the students were bused away from Palmetto Elementary School over to Bear Creek Middle School. We watched that transfer happen this morning and into this afternoon. We also got new information, though, Tom. You asked about new information. We got some new information about the suspect who did the shooting. Officials are now telling us that there is an active manhunt for that shooter. So whoever it is that was responsible for these shots, they fled this scene here, Palmetto Elementary School, around 11:10 this morning. We also were told more recently that the shooting happened not far from the front door of the school, and that's where you see the red lights flashing there, some 10 to 20 yards from the front door. And the first thing I asked was, were there cameras? Because there's always a camera at the front door of a school, and Fulton County officials say yes, there were cameras, there are cameras on this property, and there are even flock cameras in this community. So there is likely some footage that will be very helpful to them. But, you know, parents, when they heard this morning, just rushed to the scene. Many of them very anxious. They initially got a text message, and the text message says, check your email. And then once you read the email, they learned that there was a very serious situation that was happening here at the school. Do we have one of the parents available now? Let's hear from one of the parents.
School was on lockdown, and now I just looked on my Nextdoor app and I saw that there was a shooting outside of school. So I rode my truck over here, but I couldn't get through, so then that's when I hopped on my scooter.
And she mentioned she was driving her truck and couldn't get through. It was very difficult for me to navigate in here. There were police officers lined on the right and left side of the street surrounding the school when we first arrived during the 11 o'clock hour. But we are told now that all 550 students who attend Palmetto Elementary are safe over at Bear Creek Middle School. Now, as far as who this woman was and what brought her here to the school, we don't know that yet. We are, in fact, though, asking those questions, trying to figure out who she could have been. It appears that she was not a staff member or a faculty member, but still trying to find out why she would be this close to the school. We've also asked about school for tomorrow, and officials are telling us they really haven't made that call yet. They're still trying to decide. They also say dismissal will be at the same time today, just over at Bear Creek Middle, rather than here at Palmetto Elementary School, where parents normally come. Tom?
Yeah, Angelique, we're grateful none of the students inside that elementary school were involved, but you're right, just a bizarre set of circumstances as to what that woman was doing there in the first place and how, what prompted that gunfire to ring out. I was just looking at a map of where Palmetto Elementary School is. You're down quite a distance from the Metro Atlanta area, down I-85 south of the airport, and just a little bit west of the freeway. Tell us what's happening around that campus right now. We know the school is placed on lockdown. All the students were transferred to another campus. This investigation, I assume, is still going on, however.
Yes, it is, Tom. The investigation is still underway. We still have investigators here, and they're still processing the scene. They want to get to a lot of these cameras and see exactly how things were positioned. They've left all of the cars in place. No one has left this building driving, only those who left in the school buses. So they are still very much trying to figure this crime scene out. It's just so disheartening to see, you know, a school ground become a crime scene, but that's what we have here in Palmetto today.
Yeah, it is so unsettling. Angelique, before I let you go, I was just handed something. All right, I'm going to get to this in just a second, but continue reporting, Angelique. We'll check in with you as information warrants here, and of course, I know you'll have the very latest for us coming up in live reports on air on Fox 5 Atlanta at 4, 5, and 6. Angelique Proctor. Angelique, thanks. I want to get to developments out of Decatur, where the library, which was the scene of gunfire not too long ago, has finally reopened in the wake of the shooting that happened right inside the library in the computer area, which is a heavily trafficked area. Thankfully, nobody else except the two people involved here were involved in that shooting. The library reopening today with a whole host of new security measures. Let's get out to Fox 5's Annie Mapp, who's standing by live outside the Decatur Library. This is a library, Annie, that a lot of people used. It is very heavily trafficked right across the street from the MARTA station there in Decatur. Tell us what new security protocols they put in place there.
Tom, this is such a busy location, and the library just reopened today after being closed nearly a week, and we've already seen just dozens of people walking through those doors today. But it looks a lot different. They now only have one entrance available. That's the back entrance. This front entrance where I'm standing is now closed and will remain closed until they can add metal detectors to that entrance. There are now metal detectors at the back, along with a DeKalb County police officer who's watching people as they come in. Again, it's kind of like airport security in a way, not as intense, but people are having to go through that metal detector and check different items that they have in. They say this is all necessary, you know, following that shooting that happened last Monday night, where Decatur police say 44-year-old suspect Medicus Brown got into that physical altercation with another man in an upstairs computer room. Now, Brown is facing charges, serious charges for firing those shots at the victim and taking off. The victim was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. People we spoke to who were inside, Tom, that evening told us they were also in fear of their lives. That suspect was later arrested and again faces serious charges, but that situation led the library again to close its doors. Officials say their staff needed that time to decompress from what happened, but they also wanted to figure out how they could make it a safer place. Take a listen at what the DeKalb County Public Library Director said.
We hope that it will offer the right level of comfort for people, because we want libraries to be open spaces and welcoming spaces for the community. So, you know, we think that this is, unfortunately, this is the step we're having to take just to make sure that we are safe and open to everyone.
And the public library director also told me that people will not be allowed to enter the building if they have a firearm. They will be turned around. Now, last week when I was here, I did reach out to DeKalb County officials to ask them how that suspect was able to walk in with the firearm. They told me that, well, at that time, people were able to enter with firearms if they had the legal right to carry one. Of course, we don't know if the suspect did or did not. But again, that has now changed for safety reasons. Tom?
So just to be clear, even though you're a licensed gun holder and owner, that is not allowed on the premises of the Decatur Library. Is that DeKalb County wide, or is it just for that specific location?
Specifically for this location, they haven't said whether this would be implemented at all libraries, and also it's only this library that we know of that has the metal detector and has that DeKalb County police officer. We haven't heard, or we weren't told today, that they've implemented those same measures at other locations.
Well, it's concerning, Annie. As you know, I mean, you're standing right on property there, because there's a church and a preschool literally right next door to that library. You have MARTA across the street. You have busy Decatur, the main drag there, only feet away from where all this happened. So I guess to err on the side of safety, they felt compelled to put these measures in place there at the library. But it just seems like there's a lot happening around that particular building.
This is a very busy area, Tom. I mean, we came out here. I was personally out here last Monday night when this situation happened, and I mean, there were several people who were inside. Just staff members alone, I'm told, there were at least 20 staff members. So them plus the dozens of folks who were there just, using the computer room or doing stuff with books. So it's a pretty busy place. And again, we've been here just for a few hours, and we've just seen the traffic coming in and out. Obviously, people told us they feel real safe today because there is that police presence, and they are able to go through that metal detector.
All right, Annie Mapp reporting live for us from Decatur, from the DeKalb County Library there with the new safety protocols after that shooting. Annie, thanks so much. Back now to our breaking story, and that is the new creepy images that were released by the FBI of a person of interest caught on the doorbell camera of Nancy Guthrie's home out in Arizona. Let's get out to our Amalia Roy, who's live for us in Tucson this afternoon. Amalia, there's just a treasure trove of evidence from this one piece of video alone. What are investigators hoping to glean from this major discovery?
Yes, good afternoon. As you said, this is a major break in this missing person case because from the beginning, they have not had a suspect that they've identified or person of interest. Even with this video out, they still have not identified a possible suspect or person of interest. And so right now, the FBI is asking for any information on anyone who is connected to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. They're now offering a $50,000 reward because, as you had said before, this is a major break in the case. You can see from this video a person walking up to Nancy Guthrie's door overnight, trying to cover up the doorbell camera, first using his hand, their hand, which you can see is gloved, then also seeing them pick up a bit of leaves from Nancy Guthrie's yard. Kash Patel has said that this person was armed, and at this point they're looking for any information. The White House is also commenting, speaking with reporters earlier. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that she and the president had reviewed the video and are also asking for any leads.
I was once again with the president. He and I were both reviewing the newly released surveillance footage from FBI in the Savannah Guthrie case on just this heartbreaking situation with respect to her mother. The president encourages any American across the country with any knowledge of the suspect to please call the FBI, who continue to assist state and local authorities who are leading this investigation on the ground.
The FBI is taking a more visible role in this investigation. In addition to releasing this video, the FBI has put up wanted posters around the southwestern United States, focusing on interstates, and it shows a photo of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie showing her height, showing her age, as well as a way to contact the FBI with any information. And now they're offering that $50,000 along with a new poster that is out showing a photo of Nancy Guthrie as well as still images from this newly released video. Now, the problem of even getting this video, Director Patel says that they only uncovered it this morning, is because from the beginning, investigators have struggled to find any security video that would give any insight. Writing on X, Patel said that a lot of this video had been corrupted, inaccessible due to a variety of factors, and that this video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems.
Incredible, Amalia, the information we're getting from this video. And the fact that apparently this camera, the subscription for this video to get stored after it was recorded didn't exist. So if anybody has a doorbell camera, and you don't subscribe to the service, that the video basically is vaporized. But the FBI was able to go back and collect the data from that night when this whole thing happened. So it's incredibly fascinating that they were able to get their hands on this video and the treasure trove of information, if you will, that's going to come as a result of being able to show the public exactly what happened and who they're looking for. Amalia Roy, live for us in Arizona with the latest on the investigation and this new chilling video that was released by the FBI. Amalia, thanks. We have new information on jury selection in the trial of Colin Gray. He's the father of the accused Appalachia High School shooter. 2 teachers and 2 students died, 9 others injured in the 2024 shooting. Prosecutors claim Gray provided his son Colt with a firearm used in the shooting despite knowing his son could pose a threat. Gray faces nearly 30 charges, including second-degree murder. The judge has set aside 3 weeks for jury selection. So that is going to happen, and it's a pivotal moment in this case when both the prosecution and the defense question jurors in the lead up to this trial, which is set to take place. Again, he is the father of the alleged Appalachia school shooter. Now to the latest in the arrest of a sexual assault suspect. Police arresting Kwame Shabazz last week. Here is his image, who is suspected of sexually assaulting a woman in Buckhead and another person in College Park. Shabazz has a violent criminal history that includes an attempted murder conviction and at least 2 escapees from custody. He was apprehended by Gwinnett County Police and extradited to the Atlanta Police Department. According to the Fulton County jail records, he was arrested by deputies on July the 1st and charged with escape and simple battery. He was released from the Fulton County jail on July the 15th, although it is unclear where he went afterwards. We got a lot still to come here in the 3 p.m. streaming hour, including a check of our weather. It is definitely spring-like out there today, temperatures in the 70s. But is this fantastic weather going to last? We're going to check in with meteorologist Alex Forbes when we continue. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. Tom Haynes, meteorologist Alex Forbes with you here. Alex, it's nice outside.
Yeah.
70-something degrees out there. But what I noticed when I just stepped outside a couple minutes ago is that the clouds are kind of creeping back in here.
And that's setting the stage for rain later this evening across metro Atlanta and North Georgia. I think it's after most people go to bed that's going to begin to roll in. But yeah, you're right. 69 is the current temperature in Atlanta. It's 71 in Canton, 71 in Gainesville, 72 in Athens. Now, we have the availability to go look at the minute-by-minute data down at the airport, and I've seen a couple of 70-degree temperatures. Cool. So I think Atlanta has hit 70, even though it's 69 right now. It's all semantics, right? 70 in Dalton,
Feels
71. It does, and that's what matters at the end of the day. And that's thanks to the high pressure that's down in the Atlantic. But you see that cold front lurking up there towards the north and west with some showers back into Arkansas. That is going to pick up some more moisture from the Gulf and move our way later on this evening. So there we go into the evening hours, looking for temperatures to slide from the mid-60s down into the low 60s under mostly cloudy skies. It's after 11 p.m. tonight that rain chance really begins to work its way in. So tomorrow out there at the bus stop, I think some showers will still be around for the morning bus stop, but into the afternoon, those will begin to clear out, and we'll be looking at partly cloudy skies by the time we get toward 3 p.m. So here's how it shakes out on the hour-by-hour forecast. There's midnight, so northwest Georgia beginning to see some showers, but the bulk of the rain really holds off until the morning commute there for metro Atlanta. That continues to slide down to the south. We'll see clearing late in the day Wednesday and a completely clear day on Thursday with a lot of sunny skies. Temperatures probably in the 60s rather than the 70s. So we're counting down the days till spring, 38 days away. March 20th is when it officially gets started this year, according to the astronomers. So 65 tomorrow after a temperature close to 70 today, if not over that 70-degree mark. 63 for Thursday, 62 on Friday. Notice that Saturday is actually a bit warmer. So what we've done is shifted more of that rain into Sunday, and that's brought Sunday's temperature down, brought up Saturday's temperature. So I think the majority of Valentine's Day will be dry. It's late in the day, first in northwest Georgia, then spreading into metro Atlanta, where we'll be looking for some showers. Also pretty warm through the overnight tonight as the rain pushes through, and then we'll be a little more seasonable by Thursday morning, and then above the norm into the weekend and into next week. Speaking of the weekend, so trending drier for Saturday. That, of course, is Valentine's Day. But then Sunday, your rain chance up to 80% now with a high temperature of only 59. And here's the thing about Sunday. I think we're going to have the opportunity to pick up potentially several inches of rain, particularly up across northeast Georgia. But, I mean, 1 to 2 inches definitely in the picture. We've been talking about the drought monitor the past couple of days. The new soil samples are being taken for that today. We're going to get an update to that on Thursday. So if I showed you that now, it's kind of outdated. It's a week old. So we'll get that new information on Thursday. But here's the thing. We're going to get that on Thursday after tonight's rain. Of course, is not going to include tonight's rain. So when we see that on Thursday, it's going to be as of this afternoon.
Are you expecting to get a lot of rain overnight tonight, or any appreciable rain?
We need some meaningful rainfall, and that's really the weekend for us. I think we'll see at best 1/3 of an inch in metro Atlanta. Maybe up in North Georgia, you could pick up some higher amounts, but for the time being, it looks like this is just a splash and dash.
So Saturday is our day. It's Valentine's Day, and then Sunday is just going to be one of those cloudy, rainy afternoons.
Stay inside.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is the symbol on Tuesday?
Mardi Gras.
Ah, okay. Of course.
We got an eventful couple of days. In fact, I got the countdown for you. Hold on.
All right.
Let's see. I just got to come over here and pull it up.
I was in New Orleans recently. They were all, and that was a few weeks ago. They were already getting ready for Mardi Gras down there.
It's like after New Year's, they get straight to it. So 4 days to Valentine's Day, 6 days to President's Day, 7 days to Mardi Gras now. St. Patrick's Day, 35 days, and of course we talked about spring beginning there at 38.
But it's already, I feel like anyway, and February is the month that this kind of really happens, right? Mid to late is when we sort of turn the corner into it feeling a little more like spring, and we have these kind of 70-degree days a little more often.
Exactly. So much like in the month of September, you start getting the cool spells getting into fall. In the month of February, you start getting the warm spells getting into spring.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to that. I think it's been sort of a miserable-ish type of winter. It's been super cold.
In fact, that's in the meteorology textbook.
Miserable-ish apostrophe ISH.
Yes, and then it says Tom Haynes.
I like that I get a footnote in the meteorological Bible. Alex, thanks. On to a story that we've been following here. This is a picture of some people of faith in the form of monks, and they are getting some special access to primary health care physicians in a quiet place, a place characterized as a quiet place of devotion, the Monastery of the Holy Spirit, expressing their gratitude for this service that is helping the monks stay healthy. They go to the monks, all right, if they need health care attention. Our Chris Rosenthal is standing by live with how this whole thing, this kind of coincides your story with the monks that are making their way up to Washington, D.C., walking up there. But these are local monks that are getting terrific access to health care, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these are monks as well. These are Christian monks, Cistercian monks to be exact, here at the Monastery of the Holy Spirit in Conyers. 22 monks here at this monastery. Variety of ages, anywhere from 26 to 97. And, monks live, fairly self-sufficiently, but they do need help sometimes, including, from the outside world, including health care, which is why Piedmont Healthcare comes here every other month. Doctor comes to visit with the monks and help them with any of their medical needs. So I'm actually in the infirmary now, and one of the doctors actually seeing some patients right now. I'm joined by Father Augustine here, and tell me, what does it mean to have these, have Dr. Calero come here and work with the monks here?
Well, it's a real blessing. For that, because our lifestyle is such that we don't go out much. We're called cloistered, and the monks, to keep our focus as far as our dedication to God and our dedication to prayer, for us not to go out is very helpful. And we have a couple monks that it's hard for them to get out. Again, you heard 26 and 97. By the way, I'm right in the middle. I'm 67. So I get around pretty good, but some of the other monks, it's kind of difficult for them to get out, and it's so helpful for Dr. Calero to come here. She's with the Piedmont group, and it's just very valuable for us. And usually when she comes to see all the different monks, my role here, I'm the abbot here, and afterwards she talks to us about how all the monks are doing that she's seen, and it's very helpful for me to get a status report, how they're doing and what we need to do here for them to help them along with their care.
And this really helps, preserve the way of life and the culture here, huh?
Absolutely. That we stay here, that we don't have to go out so much. We have to go out for some things, of course. That's just life. We do certain things. We have to get certain things, and for real serious medical situations, we go to the hospital, and sometimes we just have to get somebody to her office because she's got the machines there, so to speak. But it does help us preserve our life as a contemplative cloistered community, which means we try to stay here as much as possible.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, she's actually treating some patients now. We're gonna I'm gonna knock on the door here, and I think we should be good to come visit. We're good to stop in?
We're waiting for you.
You're waiting for me? Okay, all right. So you've been treating monks all afternoon, huh?
I have.
Yeah, and what about 7 of them today, huh?
Correct.
So far. How are they doing?
Everybody's doing really good.
Really good, clean and bill of health, huh?
Yes.
What is it, how did you guys get involved in this?
About 30 plus years ago, Dr. DeGieve and Dr. Manning started it. They saw a need here at the monastery. Dr. Manning has been coming every month. He retired last year and asked me to take over.
And what does this mean to you to come here?
It's a privilege to be able to come here and provide primary care to these monks, for them to be able to stay comfortable in their home, for me to serve my community. It's very important.
You're not in your office. You got to come here. Any special considerations that come along with that?
Yes, we have to coordinate care. We have here in the infirmary with Brother Emilio and Sister Dr. Beatrice Potter. We coordinate the care to be able to draw blood, anything that they need. I bring from the office. Sometimes the monks that are able to go to my office in Conyers, we see them there and draw blood and do anything that's necessary.
Are they good patients? Do they take their medications?
They're actually excellent patients. They are very compliant. Everybody's really well taken care of here.
Do you think their lifestyle here, living on a monastery, do you think that helps contribute?
I believe so. I think that they're able to really focus on their health. It's part of being able to take care of our temple, our bodies, and I think that just being able to be in a community where everybody is so supportive is so important.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mental part too, helps the physical.
Absolutely.
For sure. Well, thanks for letting us cut in here. And so, and this is your last one of the day, huh?
It is.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys get back to it. So, thanks so much, guys. So, yeah. So there you go. I mean, it's they come here. She comes here every other month. Come see these monks, all 22 of them, and yeah, just a really great service to them to really help preserve their culture, their lifestyle of somewhat off the grid, if you will.
If these monks, Chris, need further medical attention, in other words, this is a primary care visit for them, are they able to access sort of the ancillary services that Piedmont Healthcare has to offer? In other words, if they needed some kind of surgical intervention or some imaging done or something a little more advanced than a visit by a doctor, are there other opportunities for them to seek health care?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they can always, if there's more needed, they can always escalate that. They can always, she can always refer it out. I mean, they do. They're not completely locked here at the monastery. So, right. In fact, one of them had a pretty serious medical issue and is in a hospital now. So, there are certain limitations, but this is obviously seeing your primary care doctor, and seeing your primary care doctor regularly and as needed is important. So it's great she comes here to see that.
This is the Monastery of the Holy Spirit. Chris Rosenthal with an incredible resource for those people of faith, the monks there who now have unprecedented access to world-class health care. Chris, thanks. When we come back, you remember the plane crash that happened in Gainesville yesterday. It was a crash landing, I should say, on a busy roadway. We're going to talk to an aviation attorney about the consequences of landing that plane on the busy roadway and the people on the ground who are, by chance, happen to be involved in that when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. So happy you're streaming with us for the 3 p.m. hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes, with you live here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Appreciate you streaming on your mobile device, or if you're watching us at home on the radio, 107.9 HD2 FM, or on our YouTube channel at Fox 5 Atlanta. We're just glad you're here this afternoon. You know, you saw the dramatic images yesterday of the plane landing on a busy Gainesville roadway. This small plane making an emergency landing, a miraculous one at that. Incredibly, nobody was injured, including those on board the aircraft. Joining us now, aviation attorney and pilot Alan Armstrong, who practices here locally. He is an avid pilot, been flying for 40-plus years, an air show pilot, flies some vintage aircraft. Alan, first of all, I was impressed yesterday at the skills of this pilot who found a roadway and was able to put down without injuring both himself or too many people around him. What did you think of the emergency landing when you saw it?
I think he gets a grade of 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. I think he did a superb job.
And what about that? I mean, when you're needing to put down as a pilot, what do you look for in a case like this?
Well, the moment that your engine quits, if you're in a single engine airplane, the first thought is, I'm going to die. That's the first thought. And the second thought is, I don't want to die. I've got to find a way out of this. And so I'm going to follow my training. I'm going to follow the procedures I've been taught to follow in a situation like this. And if your engine quits, you've either got a loss of fuel, a loss of ignition, or a loss of air. So you change your tanks at the boost pump, and you check your magnetos and see if you can get a restart. And if you can get a restart, then you resume flying. If you can't get a restart, then you trim the airplane for 105 knots, which is your best glide speed, to try to find a spot to put the airplane down. Generally speaking, you're better off landing gear up than gear down. In this case, he chose to put the gear down, which turned out to be a good call, because when you look at that crash landing, he had a lot of downward vertical component. That airplane was really coming out of the sky really at a steep angle, and the landing gear absorbed a lot of that energy. If he landed gear up, he would have slid further, and the gas tanks may have ruptured, and rather than having a beat-up airplane and 3 damaged cars, we may have had a catastrophic explosion of exploding gas tanks. So looking upon the situation with the benefit of a Monday morning quarterback, all you can say is he did a magnificent job.
Yeah, we're just watching this video as you sort of narrate what happened here, and it is right out of the textbook. I'm sure he was in contact with air traffic control when this happened. You are an attorney, so let's talk about the legality of what happened here. There are people on the ground. There are innocent motorists who had no idea what was coming out of the sky 1 minute. The next minute, they're being hit by a small aircraft. What are the legal ramifications for an incident like this of people who just happened to be on that roadway when this plane came out of the sky?
To have a cause of action, there has to be a duty, a breach of the duty, that is the proximate cause of damages or injury. So the question becomes, did the pilot of an airplane with a failed aircraft engine have a duty to people on the ground? And the answer is yes, he did. How far does that duty extend? Does the pilot have an obligation to sacrifice himself and fly into a tree and then thereby avoid the risk of injuring anyone? Or does he have a duty equally to himself and his passenger to try to preserve his life? I think in this situation, he balanced the competing interest and went for saving his life and the life of his passenger, at the same time minimizing the danger or injury to people on the ground. So I think that he threaded the needle.
Yeah, if we could keep playing that video, all right, as much as we can while we're talking to you. So will there be in your estimation? First of all, is the pilot covered by like flight insurance, like a motorist is covered by automotive insurance for liability?
Yes. Yes, he has, without a doubt, he has insurance on the airplane. Okay. And so I would hope he has what's called combined. I'm sorry if I didn't.
You're fine. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. He has, I presume, combined single limit coverage, I presume, of $1 million would be a respectable amount. So that should be more than adequate to take care of this, of the damages suffered by the surrounding vehicles and the terrain and what have you.
You know, you have a tale of two stories here. If you're going to look at this from the legal perspective, you have an A+ emergency landing that spared not only the life of the pilot, but obviously he found a roadway that was kind of clear and enough space for him to put down, which is what a pilot looks for. So you have that going for the pilot as we take a look. And again, this happened just yesterday up in Gainesville. But then you have the people on the ground who might have been involved haphazardly, who sustained injuries, who I presume, or maybe they will, or maybe they won't, contact their insurer. And do you imagine any lawsuits would be filed as a result of this? I mean, that would be unfortunate, but I guess it's just the legal world that we live in.
I can't speculate about whether a lawsuit or series of lawsuits will or will not be filed. What I can tell you, in the aviation insurance industry, the claims adjusters are pretty responsive and pretty responsible, and they typically know what they're doing. So I would anticipate that the claims adjuster with this file would be contacting the people who are, if there's anyone injured or if their cars are damaged or if any power lines are taken down, he'll be working quickly and methodically and in an industrious manner to settle those claims. They're not going to be, messing around with this. They'll be settling those claims, I would think, fairly expeditiously would be my guess. So I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know whether lawsuits will be filed or not, but I would anticipate if the insurance company is responsible and responsive, there would be no need for a lawsuit.
I'm just curious, with a man of your experience and your decades and decades of flying an aircraft, when you saw this yesterday, what your initial gut reaction was?
I thought he really, really threaded the needle. I thought he did a good job of finding a roadway. I was astonished he didn't hit a power line. Like I said, I was surprised the gear was down, but in retrospect, it turned out to be a good decision because the landing gear took a lot of the energy. If the energy had been if the gear had been retracted, we'd probably have an explosion. I mean, it's probably a lot worse. I mean, you see how it didn't go through the intersection? If the gear's up, you'd have slid through the intersection and going head on into that oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
So at least by having the gear down, it absorbed a lot of energy and allowed him to stop more quickly. So, you look at this performance with the benefit of hindsight, I think he gets an A+.
Yep, I agree. When I saw this, I thought the same thing you did. I'm an armchair pilot. I'm not a licensed pilot by any stretch, but I love anything aviation. And so when this happened and I saw the video, I was like, wow, hats off to that pilot for making the decisions that he did, finding a place to put down in an emergency type situation. And again, we're just so happy nobody was more seriously injured than what they sustained out there. Interesting legal perspective, too. Alan Armstrong, local aviation attorney and flight pilot enthusiast. Alan, thanks so much for being with us this afternoon.
You're very welcome. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right. You as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So happy you're streaming with us this afternoon. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. We're going to get out to Doug Evans in Fayette County. Anything but Doug, a quiet Sunday afternoon out there after a gunman, we understand, robs a convenience store and gets into a high-speed chase with police out there. Kind of walk us through what happened here.
Yeah, Tom. The Fayette County Sheriff Barry Babb is crediting these new high-resolution, ultra-high-resolution, I should say, surveillance video cameras with helping them to capture an armed robbery suspect in a little over an hour. Tom, we don't have the video for you, unfortunately, but it's great. Trust me on that. We're going to have it for you tonight on Fox 5 News at 6, all new at 6. Listen, here's what happened. Amico Station, just down the road from here in Fayette County. It's right near Whitewater Middle School. Just opened, just been remodeled. Beautiful service station. They put in these ultra high resolution video cameras. And so a gunman walks in, robs the place, points the weapon straight at the two clerks, takes the cash, leaves. He doesn't know that there are surveillance cameras out in the parking lot. He doesn't know that they're ultra high resolution, and they get a great shot of his license plate as he's driving out. And so the clerk was able to share that with law enforcement. Law enforcement immediately put a bolo, be on the lookout for this car. It starts popping up on license tag readers all over Fayette County, ends up in Peachtree City. They're alerted, and they get in a high-speed chase with this guy. I gotta tell you, this chase, now that I think of it, ended very near my house. Interesting. Just a thought, an aside. Sorry about that. And so this guy makes a wrong turn. Makes a wrong turn in an industrial complex that he can't possibly get out of, and perhaps he even knows that. He's boxed in, and by the time the patrol cars catch up to him, he was going that fast. He's already out of the car, lying on his stomach with his hands spread out, waiting for the officers, completely surrendered. So they have him in custody. This is the first I've heard of these cameras, and the sheriff here, Barry Babb, says that he'd like more businesses to invest in this technology because they worked great.
It's an incredible sequence of events. You're right, we were having some technical problems bringing in the video. You're going to see it. You're going to join us on the newscasts on Fox 5 on our broadcast channel 4, 5, and 6, Doug, where we'll be able to show it. But just your narration of what happened here, it's incredible. The resources and the tools that both Fayette and Coweta County, kind of your beat down there in the southern part of our city, have at their disposal to catch up with guys like this. And it's equally confounding that they don't know that at every turn they're being watched. I mean, the second, well, first of all, when they're in the place, then the second they walk out, and then out on the roadways.
Right. You know, it's interesting. I don't know how anybody gets away with anything anymore, honestly. Right. These cameras are just so good. Listen, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office wanted to share a snippet of this video that was only about 38 seconds long from these ultra-high resolution cameras. Wanted to share it with me, and so they cut it, right? That 38-second snippet was over 2 gigabytes in memory. That's how much data is in that video. It is just incredible. I mean, goodness gracious, I've downloaded movies that weren't 2 gigabyte.
Really
so
stuff.
That it's just amazing. Yeah.
Doug Evans, live for us. Doug, thanks so much. And thank you for streaming with us here for the 3 p.m. hour. I'm Tom Haynes. Don't go anywhere. The news continues right here, right now.